is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I've been. I will drown in pain. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I've been. Nothing is what I think. Yeah. 'Cause I will drown in pain. Hey, I just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. You, I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Hey, I just wanna change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. You, I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. Radiating in my world. Radiating. Hey, I'm gonna no. Woo! I can't pretend. No. I hope this never ends. It's about you. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. What is up, people? Hello, hello. Oh, 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 oh. Let's go. What's up? Happy Tuesday.
What's going on?
Can I make something good out of this?
Can I make something good out of this? How we doing tonight? Chances are you will not be missed, 'cause you don't give a shit.
Can I make something good out of this?
Let's go! We're back! You could be late, you could be true. You could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong, and I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure, but I want more.
Can I make something good out of this?
Let's go. Can I pretend that something is missing? Chances are you will not be missed, 'cause you don't give a shit.
Can I make something good out of this?
Cheers!
You will be late, you could be true.
You could be underneath my shoe,
Sometimes you're the only one who's strong,
and I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure, 'cause I want more. Racer, let's go! Come on, baby! Wow. Let's go, baby! Welcome back, boss. Thank you. It's good to be back. Dude, Trumpy is punch drunk. Hey! You could be late, you could be true. You could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong, and I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure. Oh, but Trumpy wants more. I want more. I want more from you, yeah, more. I want more. I want more. I want more from you, yeah, more. I want more. I want more from you, yeah, more. I want more from you, yeah, more. Yeah, yeah. Want more from you, yeah, more. Let's go, baby. All right, all right. I want more. Oh, let's go. Yes, no, somebody did die. A rep from California passed away, right? He was like 66. I believe he was a Republican. I mean, I know he was a Republican because the Republicans were talking about him. And so I don't think the Republicans would make a statement like that. I'm pretty sure he was a Republican. Malfa, right? What's his name? This guy right here, 𝗙𝗪𝗪, Doug 𝗙𝗪𝗪. Right? He, yes, dude, I knew he was a Republican. You know how I knew he was a Republican, guys? I didn't even look it up, but simply because the House GOP was like retweeting things saying we're deeply saddened, right? Because if he was a Democratic rep, they wouldn't have even posted about him. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have fucking posted about him, or they would have made some snarky comment. That's literally how you know. Like, I've seen a bunch of Democrats saying, oh, hey, it really sucks that this guy passed, but you won't see that shit from Republicans at all. You know what I mean? You won't. You just won't. They like fucking, they're pretty hardcore about their hatred, right? Dude, hey, we, just so you know, we can't we can't be putting messages like that in chat, guys. All right? You can't be like doing that kind of crazy shit. Not my chat. I'm not putting up with that shit. I'm not getting fucking banned for your fucking stupidity anymore. All right? Just so you know. Okay? Just so you know. None of that shit. Wise up, people. All right? Wise up. Let's go. Let's go. Fucking boots incoming. Dude, yeah, Doug 𝗙𝗪𝗪. I never heard of him. Right? I never heard of him, boss. Right? You know what I mean? I never heard of him. But anyway, guys, we have a fairly we had a fairly fucking chaotic day today. All right? There's a lot of shit that sort of went on today that is intriguing. It feels pretty Bush League compared to what Donald Trump is doing, right? With his whole regime change and shit. But obviously there's a couple things we should look at here. One of the first ones I want to look at is this interview. Oh my God. Dude, have you seen this interview? This shit is crazy. Okay? This shit is nuts right here. First off, Anna Paulina Luna is dressing like a Mormon. What is she doing, bro? Dude, what is she doing? She is dressing like a Mormon and being like, I don't know, she's got this Mennonite look going on now with the giant side pony. But dude, this is crazy. This was an interview from a couple days ago. But guys, watch what happens in this interview, okay? I'm serious. This interview is very outlandish because she is just straight up showing up to the interview with like a pre-packaged like line of information about, oh, Maduro and Venezuela. But guys, everything she says is just a complete lie. It is completely made up. She goes on a major news network and she starts like bringing these crazy lies about Marco Rubio and insane shit. But this interviewer just absolutely demolishes her. Okay. And so I guess the thing that's really intriguing to me about this is how we are getting to a level of media insanity where the Republican Party is not even, they're operating completely outside reality now. And they're showing up, okay? They're showing up just like absolutely making shit up. You know what I'm saying? They are absolutely just making shit up. You know what I mean? They are like fucking, you know, I don't know, dude. I have not seen anything quite like this, where now they no longer even anchoring their news media statements in truth. Dude, I don't know what's up with the costume, right? The costume is very strange. You know what I mean? Like, what is with this look, bro? And Dorothy, dude, she does have a little bit of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Okay? This is bizarro world. All right, let's just watch some of this. We may skip to the good part where she gets shut down, but like, dude, they are no longer, what is the new time for the show? This is it, boss. Right? You're looking at it. They're no longer feeling the need to tell the truth at all. It's like you'll have 20 different reps going on TV and saying 20 different fucking things, and none of them are true, right? And thank you, Will. Appreciate you, boss. They like none of them are true anymore. You want a dance party goal? All right, we can get that set. None of them are true, guys. It's like I don't even know what to make of this shit, boss. I mean, I know that Trump has taken us to a post-truth world, but now it's not even like a party line anymore. Their lies used to be based in, you know, a singular lie that was shared by the party, and now there's still a little bit of that going on in the right-wing influencer culture. But now literally, you know, 10 different reps will go and give interviews with 10 different lies. And so you can't even, I mean, what's crazy about it is it's almost like their new methodology. Baird is your rep and 80 and in the hospital. Is that the one who got in the car accident? Thank you, Larson. I feel like they're entering a new realm of Republican depravity, guys, where it is no longer about propagating a lie to defend their actions, but now what they are doing is they are like throwing so many lies out there in every single situation that they're trying to make it so truth doesn't exist anymore. So you can simply hear 20 lies and pick whichever one you want to uphold them. And then you have a defense, right? There's like a Facebook post for every, you know, mental illness in the MAGA movement in order to defend their actions. Yeah, it's like a new way of flooding the zone, dude. It's like ceasing to make truth exist. And guys, when you couple this with this shit, like we're going to look at this clip, but I don't know if you've seen this clip, but there's this profile called Maverick Alexander that makes AI videos. They're starting to make AI videos that are, you know, this isn't going to fool an adult, but, you know, a 14-year-old is going to watch this video of RFK Jr. and probably think it's real. So now you have AI videos that are getting more and more realistic, along with a party that has decided to make it so truth doesn't exist. And it is literally just going to be a free-for-all for misinformation and you know, non-reality. And dude, we need to like watermark AI like ASAP. But let's watch this interview. All right, let's watch some of this. This is crazy.
Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania said in a statement, quote, "The only country that the United States of America should be running is the United States of America. The United States should join the international community in monitoring and overseeing a free and fair election in Venezuela, allowing the Venezuelan people a pathway to a true democracy." Joining us now is Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna of Florida. Congresswoman, thank you so much for coming back on the show. Let me start by your reaction to that statement from your colleague. What is your response to the notion that America should be running America, not, as President Trump said, running Venezuela?
I actually happen to be very good friends with Representative Fitzpatrick, and I do think that that is our full intention. As far as I know, it is our objective to bring our guys back home as soon as possible and to ensure that the president of Mexico, who was actually elected, sees a peaceful transfer of power. And so I'm sure that that will happen, hopefully sooner rather than later.
The president of the United States today said that it...
Dude, wait, did she say the president of Mexico? Dude.
I actually happen to be very good and sees a peaceful transfer of the president of Mexico, who was actually elected.
Dude, the president of Mexico, dude, like, hello? I mean, she didn't even know what she's talking about, boss. What are we doing?
Sees a peaceful transfer of power. And so I'm sure.
By the way, we should point out that something else, just for the record, guys, can I show you this? They're already... Okay, already this shit is out of control. Okay. Dude, LFG, FTT, thank you, Tommy, for all you do, boss. Let's go. Ella, let's go. So, look at this shit, dude. Okay. You ready? Already, guys. Where is it? Hold on, let me find it. Look at this. Look at this shit, dude. Okay? Right? There isn't peace. Awesome gaming. Let's go. Dude, there is no peace in Venezuela, okay? There is no peace in Venezuela. There's already a Maduro, faction that has taken over the country, right? And they are basically hunting down anyone who, supports, any Venezuelan who supports, the deposing of Maduro. They're like gangs hunting these people down. Okay, so the Venezuelan people are not free. They're not taken care of. They're not protected. They're in more dangerous than ever. They're in more danger than ever. Okay, they're completely unprotected, completely vulnerable, and they're stopping cars and looking through people's phones. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, this is nuts, bro. This is nuts. Like a motorcycle gang. I mean, it's pretty fucking crazy. Okay? It is crazy, dude. And you know what I'm saying? Now, what I'm wondering though is this true? Okay? That's the first thing release the Epstein files. Definitely. Dude, let's go, Pinky. Let's go. Now, you have to wonder, though. I mean, the first thing I did, though, is I looked at this and look at what I saw, right? I clicking on it. I see he's a Manhattan Instituter, which then makes you wonder, is this actually true? Right? Is this actually true? I don't even know if it's true, guys, because look at this. He's a Manhattan Instituter. So, of course, right? This is what did I miss? No, I didn't miss one. Oh, did I? Oh, yeah, Diana, let's go. Big love, critical thinking, and humor. Let's go. Thank you. Appreciate you, Diana. Thanks, guys. All right. This. Look at this, bro. Of course. Dude, yeah, I mean, the New York Post is you're right, 30% chance of truth. There's a little bit of truth to the New York Post, but look at that, dude. Fellow Manhattan Instituter. But again, who knows? Who knows what is going on there? Okay? Dude, who are these guys? Dude, what do we got here? Right? Look at this guy. This guy is looking tough. Oh my God, dude. What is going on? Dude, what are we doing? And then on the flip side, you have these guys too. Look at this. Tommy Robinson. Remember somebody was talking about Tommy Robinson? I think it was in a Fortnite stream. Right? It was in a Fortnite stream. Somebody was talking about Tommy Robinson and about like, what do you mean this guy's a misogynist? What do you mean this guy's a racist? But look at this shit, dude. He's like, can we give Venezuelan women top priority for refugee status because they're like dancing, right? You know what I'm saying? I love this comment too. Everyone who tweets like this is a rapist. It's accurate, okay? It is accurate, guys. This is what rapists do, where they're like literally they show like a woman shaking her ass and they're like, oh, can we get them to America? Like, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden their anti-immigration stance completely changes. Dude, it's pretty alarming. But, dude, Venezuela, though, is in turmoil, okay? Right? It is. Venezuela is in turmoil. I believe there was a gun battle yesterday, right? There's like I don't know exactly who is, you know, like battling, right? There's still fighting going on in Venezuela. And we don't know who it is at this point. Like, we don't know if they're fighting to take over the capital, if there's Maduro people like still in charge. You know what I mean? I mean, dude, it's impossible to sort of like sort out what's going on there, because let me just tell you this. There is no like plan to institute a you know, coherent and stable government in Venezuela. Okay? There is not. Let's be very clear about that. Okay? That the in order for Trump to control access to the oil, one of two things needs to happen. Either there needs to be chaos, right? Or there needs to be somebody that is just a Trump crony that is in charge. And if it's the latter, if it is a Trump crony in charge, there's no way that there's going to be any stability there. I mean, just like there's no stability here in America right now. There's none. Like, we have zero stability. And literally, yes, Venezuela is going to be in complete disarray and unrest for like a decade. Absolutely. If not longer. It is like, it will be a decade of power struggles, of internal coups, of, you know, people jockeying for power. And what's more, you ready for this? Every faction in Venezuela is going to be looting the country. They are going to loot the goddamn country, along with Exxon and Chevron and Trump and Witkoff and Besant and all of their fucking VC buddies that are going to go in there and carve up all the natural resources. All of Venezuela is going to be fucked, okay? And then meantime, though, right? In the meantime, you have these clowns, right? You have these clowns, like, where was it, dude? Let me find it again. Right? In the meantime, you have these fucking clowns. What's my favorite lawnmower brand? Dude, Laser, let's go, baby. I don't know any lawnmower brands, boss. So I don't have a favorite, boss. Right? We have a battery operated. I know that. We have an electric lawnmower, right? I have no idea what brand it is, though. I've had it for 10 years, dude. I couldn't tell you the brand, boss. All right. I have no idea, but I like it. It's blue. All right. It's a blue lawnmower. Dude, it's pretty good. Where is it? Where's our little Manhattan Institute guy? Okay. Dude, where is it? Yeah, look at this, right? Dude, Maduro's motorcycle thugs go door to door and hunt for Trump supporters, boss. Now, guys, tell me, is this not like trying to sell some unity to the MAGA movement? You know MAGA is fractured. Dude, that is huge propaganda. They're trying to get MAGA like, oh man, they're hunting Trump supporters, guys. They're hunting Trump supporters. Look out. We got to get together. They're going to hunt Trump supporters here in America. Dude, how much you want to bet we're going to see something here where they're going to say if Democrats win in 2026, they're going to hunt Trump supporters here. Dude, you know it's coming, boss. Why can't I find this goddamn tweet, dude? We were literally just looking at it, okay? We were literally just looking at the fucking Hassan one. Right here is this one, okay? And this guy says, oh, the guy from the Manhattan Institute says, yeah, it's true, right? Oh, if you have pro-American text messages praising Donald Trump, they're arresting you. I mean, dude, maybe this is what we need in America. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's possible that could this be the solution? Dude, maybe this is the solution, dude. Oh, fuck. Bro, oh my God. All right, here we go.
I'm sure that will happen, hopefully sooner rather than later.
The president of the United States today said that it was the vice president, 𝗙ecie Rodriguez. You're saying it's not 𝗙ecie Rodriguez. Are you on the same page as the president, or are you aspiring for something different for Venezuela?
I'm on the same page as the president, but what I will say is that we know for a while that the international community has not recognized Maduro and that his entire administration, as well as their election process, was essentially stolen from the people of Venezuela. And so I have all the faith in the world that the peaceful transition of power will happen. And you're actually seeing an overwhelming amount of support from the people, not just in Venezuela, but also Venezuelan Americans here that support what the president has done.
But, Congresswoman, if you're on the same page as the president, that doesn't quite align, because the Venezuelan people, both here in the United States and in that country, they support Machado, who Trump said in the presser this morning he actually thinks doesn't have the respect inside the country. And he is in touch with, coordinating with, it sounds like Rubio is, with 𝗙ecie Rodriguez, who is implicated in all the same crimes that Maduro has taken part in. Venezuelans that I've spoken to say that she is implicated in all of it, that she's responsible for jailing and harming dissidents in the country. And so the idea that the U.S. is coordinating with her right now is incredibly alarming to them. And that's even Venezuelans who support this president.
Dude, I mean, there you go. They take out Maduro and then they put in another Maduro. Bro, like, all right. Yeah. So what exactly are we doing? Oh, yeah. Wait a second. We need oil.
They're a bit alarmed by what he said about 𝗙ecie Rodriguez today.
I haven't heard that same reaction, so that's interesting that you guys are getting a 180 out reaction. But it is interesting to note that most mainstream sources are not putting out the fact that Maduro, if you want to talk about ultimately why the United States has done what we've done, aside from him being literally a narco trafficker, actually put out an active hit on Marco Rubio when he was a then senator. And so you're seeing that the government of Venezuela currently, I do think, has still a propaganda campaign in effect to try to make it look like what the United States did was wrong. But ultimately, again, it's the perspective of this administration to get in and ensure that the person who is rightfully elected is put into power and then ultimately bring our guys back home. I don't necessarily think it's a long-term plan and staying there, and I certainly would not support that. But I do know that this president had made numerous efforts to reach out and talk directly with Maduro and his, if you want to call it an administration, which, again, I don't think that Maduro was legitimately elected. And ultimately, I do think that the Secretary of State is doing exactly what he is is doing to further our efforts and our safety for the American people.
Do you really feel that the president is focused on free and fair elections? Because in his presser this morning, he used the word oil 20 times. He mentioned wealth 2 times. He mentioned drugs 4 times. But he said the word democracy 0 times. He said free or fair elections 0 times. He didn't really make his major speech to the country this morning about the freedom and liberty of Venezuelans at all.
Well, you know, I did watch his press conference, and I'm not the president's speechwriter, but what I will tell you is when he was pointing out the fact that Nicolas Maduro is actively a narco-trafficker, that he ultimately is responsible for the death of many Americans. And again, I don't know why the mainstream media is not talking about this, but when Secretary Rubio was a senator, Nicolas Maduro put out a hit on the secretary.
Dude, now that's the second time she's laid into this hit on fucking Rubio, boss.
So as far
We
as
do
I'm
talk
concerned,
about it, by the
even
way.
if we did play on the,
We know that Maduro is not a good guy.
Play on the same parallel as the international courts, they would also say that that's literally an act of war to do against a sitting Secretary of State. But the point would be is that I believe that the president absolutely has an invested interest. Look, we don't need Venezuela's oil. We have our Permian Basin. We're perfectly good to go here. But ultimately,
yeah, we don't need it. That's why Trump said it 20 times.
Again, I think President Trump is doing will stabilize the United States for generations to come, and it will ultimately be responsible for many Americans not dying from fentanyl overdoses, etc. It has been
Oh, fentanyl. Dude, guys, no fentanyl comes from Venezuela. No fentanyl. 0 fentanyl. No fentanyl. Here it comes, though. Here she is about to get clowned.
Interesting to note, though, that you're seeing the president and many countries that have been run by cartels, for example, Mexico, react in a negative light as opposed to countries like Argentina, for example.
Okay, so 2 things. Did you read the indictment that was unsealed by Pam Bondi?
I read some of it, and I know on, I think it's one of the first pages that cocaine is referenced.
Okay. Fentanyl is not mentioned in that, and neither is this alleged hit that you're talking about Nicolas Maduro putting out on Senator Marco Rubio. Why would the Trump administration not indict him on what you're making to be a huge claim by an adversary of the United States against a sitting U.S. senator? Why do you think they didn't?
It's definitely an important piece of information, and I will make sure that I follow up with Todd Blanche and suggest that they try to charge him for that as well.
I know, but that's not what you're saying. You're justifying the actions of the administration. You're justifying the actions of the administration by citing fentanyl and citing an alleged hit on Senator Marco Rubio. Both of those.
Fentanyl and cocaine and drugs have been definitely trafficked out of Venezuela.
Fentanyl is not mentioned at all in the indictment against Nicolas Maduro.
I'm actually telling you confirmed information. I'm telling you confirmed information. So what I would do if I were you is I would reach out to the Secretary's office and see if Nicolas Maduro put out a hit on him. And I just said that I would follow up with the DOJ.
I'm just telling you it's not mentioned in the indictment, and I'm asking you to explain why it's not mentioned in the indictment.
Well, I'm not at the Department of Justice.
So, dude, Ridge, love this guy. How he tears her up. Happy you're back. Yes, Ridge. Thank you, boss. Oh! Let's take a moment here to just marvel. Anna Paulina Luna, the story she wants us to believe is that Maduro took out a hit on Marco Rubio, which was an act of war, right? Supposedly before he was Secretary of State, mind you, when he was a senator. And it's about protecting us from fentanyl. And then there's this indictment from the fucking Attorney General that, of course, doesn't mention fentanyl because no fentanyl comes from Venezuela. And conveniently doesn't mention this supposed hit. So the act of war that is the reason we went in there and kidnapped this guy has conveniently been left out of the indictment that Anna Paulina Luna did not read. Dude. And on top of that, she's like, oh, well, I'm going to call Attorney Todd Blanche and see if he can put my little fantasy story in there. Dude, like, where are we, guys? Where? Dude, Luna Loca, well said, dude. I mean, she's dressing like a Mennonite and just streaming straight bullshit. Okay? Straight bullshit.
I don't know. I don't work at the Department of Justice, but I think that would be a good thing for you guys to follow up on.
Do you think maybe it's not a real thing that do you think it's maybe not a real thing that they have any evidence to substantiate it?
No, I don't think that it's not a real thing. I think it definitely happened, and I definitely confirmed it with 2 separate people before I came onto your show because I wanted to share that with you. And I would suggest that you guys follow up with the Secretary's office because I do think that that's something that the American people should know.
The Secretary has an open invitation to come on the show at any time. I can promise you that. I want to know what your message is, Congresswoman, to your...
Dude, look at her demeanor, boss. Look, she is fucking pissed, bro. Look at her. Dude, she is perturbed, boss. She is. Now, I think she's dressed like this. She's dressed like this, like Amish person trying to like make her seem more believable, right? But dude, she is fucking pissed. Dude, she is. Dude, she raided 𝗙𝗪𝗏's wardrobe, dude. Oh my God, boss.
Voters, to people who are part of the Maga movement who voted for Trump because he and people around him said consistently during the campaign that we were getting out of forever wars, we were not going to be spending American taxpayer dollars overseas, that he was going to be focused, laser focused on making life affordable here. I spoke to people on the campaign trail who believed in the president on that issue, who maybe had scarring experiences or their kids had scarring experiences serving abroad in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they didn't want anything like that to happen. And we're already seeing that some of them are fearful that what we heard described earlier today, if the U.S. is running Venezuela for a certain period of time, not indefinitely, if the U.S. is going to have to worry about transporting oil, sort of resetting up refineries there, that's going to require a lot of boots on the ground. Is it not?
Well, look, I'm a United States Air Force veteran. My husband was shot in Afghanistan, so obviously we're not for forever wars. However, from my understanding, the president was talking about private investment. So I obviously am not in the administration, but based on his own statements, I would assume that that's not taxpayer dollars, that that's actually.
But what's your message to voters who say this is not what I voted for?
Aside from that, I'll get to that in a second. Aside from that, this time last year when President Biden was still in office prior to the November elections, we actually had oil in Pinellas County over $3 a gallon. Now it's under $2 and some change, right, in various areas. We saw egg prices that have now gone down. And what I will tell you is the president's perspective and this administration's perspective is peace through strength. And your sons and daughters will not be drafted into another foreign war. But aside from that, literally a few weeks ago.
Dude, what is she talking about? Dude, I'm tired of this mentality that egg prices are down from when they were like 500% higher than they were, right? Steak prices, dude, the last ribeye I bought was $28 for a fucking ribeye. No, that was not at a restaurant. That was a ribeye that I bought and had to cook myself. Dude, I am so tired of thinking that like a dollar a gallon gas. I mean, how many gallons of gas do you use in a year? Okay. What do you get? You get like, I don't know, 10 gallons of gas a week, $10 a week you're saving, right? You know what I mean? I mean, $15 a week. If you fill up once a week, you're saving $15 a week. That means for a year, it's like $700. Dude, that's nothing. That is not worth like spending $1 trillion in Venezuela for. Okay? This idea that we are even materially saving a huge amount of money with gas prices is ridiculous. Okay? You're maybe saving $1,000 a year, and yet we're like gas prices. And in fact, if you buy a hybrid, you're not even affected by this. But like, dude, you save $1,000 a year, but then your groceries are 30% more. You have just lost a ton of fucking money. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's fucking ridiculous. Okay. And yes, gas is cheap because no one's traveling. No one's using it. Okay. More people have electric cars than ever. More people, nobody's going out. Nobody's doing anything because we're all just sitting here wondering how long our country has left before we're fucking speaking Russian here, before Russian is our national language. Dude, it's ridiculous.
I was on a ride along and we found 2 pounds of fentanyl in the last couple of weeks. Our Florida Department of Corrections found that. during these various probation check-ins.
Dude.
Literally a few weeks ago, I was on a ride along and we found 2 pounds of fentanyl in the last couple of weeks. Our Florida Department of Corrections found that during these various probation check-ins. That's enough to kill more people in Pinellas County multiple times over. So when you're talking about the president's
that has nothing to do with Venezuela.
war on drugs, essentially stopping the Maduro regime from trafficking drugs into this country, I'm very glad that he did what he did, because he essentially saved people in Pinellas County.
A lot of experts are concerned that this is going to cause destabilization, not just for Venezuelans who may have to deal with a power vacuum for a period of time, but in Colombia, in Cuba, and elsewhere. Are Republicans considering maybe reversing their actions on TPS, for example, and making it easier for those people to come to the United States right now if their home countries are destabilized because of the action that we have taken?
What's interesting is because of President Trump's actions, I actually saw reports today from a local Florida outlet that there are some former, I guess, Venezuelan refugees that are looking to head back home now because Maduro has been essentially removed and brought back to the United States. But also, too, I don't know, and I don't necessarily think that there will be a destabilization.
Dude, she says Venezuelans are going to want to go back to Venezuela now that it's destabilized, right? They're like, oh, yeah. We came here and we live in America, but now that Venezuela is completely destabilized and they're shooting people in the streets, and the New York Post is saying that they're hunting down people who support. Dude, they can't make up their mind, bro. Oh, they're liberated.
In these other countries, Mexico, Cuba, etc. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's not the perspective and directive of the administration to cause such. But what I will also say is that when you have people that have countries that are run by cartels and they've been sending their people over here, they're essentially responsible for drug running and they're not wanting to work with the U.S. government, I think that that's a different story. And so I'm obviously not for any more foreign intervention, but I also understand the behind-the-scenes conversation and also the intelligence reports that went into this. This is not a decision that was made lightly. And I do think that the administration is sending a very powerful signal internationally to the international community not to mess with the United States.
Dude, they're sending a very powerful message to the international community that the United States can't be trusted, is what they're sending. They're sending a message that the United States are degenerates, war criminals. They will attack and take whatever they want from whomever they want. They're sending a message that we are basically operating like Vladimir Putin now, and no one is safe. And now, simultaneously, what do we have? We have Stephen Miller out there fucking, I think I bookmarked it, out there talking about fucking Greenland. Right? Look at this shit.
Important topic. The premier of Greenland and the premier of Denmark and other Danish officials are responding to a Twitter post from your wife, Katie Miller, herself a former Trump White House official, showing Greenland covered with an American flag, saying soon. After that was posted, President Trump repeated the claim that the U.S. needs Greenland for national security reasons. The Danish prime minister responded to this in an interview earlier today, as reported by Bloomberg, quote, "I believe one should take the American president seriously when he says it wants Greenland, but I will also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War." Can you rule out that the U.S. is ever going to try to take Greenland by force?
Well, let me go back a step. The president has been clear for months now, so I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that has Greenland as part of our overall security apparatus. The United
States, again, it doesn't matter what Donald Trump thinks about this. Donald Trump doesn't get to decide what countries belong to whom during, you know what I'm saying? Like, Trump doesn't own the goddamn world. Bro, I am so tired of these MAGA motherfuckers thinking that they are empowered and they just get to decide who owns what, who, right? Who keeps what, who gets what. It is insane, bro.
Greenland is part of our overall security apparatus. The United States,
but your wife posted that like hours after the...
Oh, shit. Sorry. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I fucked up, bro, with the dance party goal. All right, I'll pay attention this time. Dude, there we go. There we go. Dude, warn me. Warn me next time. I need lots of warning. All right? This is nuts. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Force?
Well,
to try to take Greenland by force at the end of the Second World War. Can you rule out that the U.S. is ever going to try to take Greenland by force?
Well, let me go back a step. The president has been clear for months now. So I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that
Should
has
be the
Greenland
nation.
as part of our overall security apparatus. The United
Right, but
States,
your wife posted that like hours after the Venezuela operation. That's why it's newly relevant.
No, I'm not, and I'll talk with you about it for an hour. I think it's a really important conversation. I just wanted to reset, Jake, by making clear that it has been the formal position of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration. Frankly,
Dude, this guy talks like such a fucking dweeb, bro.
back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark? The United States is the power of NATO. For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States. And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take it off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard to, which again is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out the United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
One last question, Stephen.
Doesn't make any sense.
One last question.
Dude, what a douche, bro. What a douche. He won't answer the question, right? He won't answer the question because he wants to imply that, yeah, we will take it by force in order to try and bully and threaten people into like giving it up. But dude, what are we doing, man? Lucy, let's go. Dude, and Ella, let's go. Ella's in here saying, LFG, let's go. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Ella. Bro, dude, NATO. Oh, we're in NATO. We're a power in NATO. So therefore we can take Greenland. We can take Germany, right? We decided Germany needs to be ours, so for national security reasons. So therefore, we're taking Germany. Dude, Miller needs to read a history book. Dude, Miller needs more than that. JD, let's go. Dude, Pinky, let's go, punks. All right, we're going to get it this time. Sorry that I fucking spaced out and missed the end of that. But again, guys, okay, this is what we're talking about. Again, these guys, they just want to bully the whole hemisphere. Oh, do you know Tony Smiley? Thanks by FDJT. Tony Smiley. That name sounds familiar, Kathy. Like I feel like I've heard that name. Is he a musician or something from the Northwest or something? I know I've heard that name. I don't he's not somebody that's like in my friend group, but I do feel like I have heard that name. Okay. And I don't know if it was from the film industry or the music industry. Stephen Miller has a tick. Just really watch him. No, he does. Dude, the whole time, if you look at Miller, he's like, he talks like this, like, oh, awkward, right? But I do know that name from somewhere. Reminder, pay attention to the dance goal, yo. I'm trying. Dude, he does. He does have a fucking he does have a like he has a lot of ticks, dude. That's a host body. Oh Jesus, dude. Dude, what are we doing, bro? He the way he talks is so awkward. Like, dude, I mean, is this guy I mean, I know we're not supposed to judge physical appearances. I know that it's rude and it's bad, but is this guy one of the ugliest and most awkward human beings you have ever seen in your life? Like, wow. Wow. He is one of the most just, I think he is like top 2 ugly people. The only person I can think who is uglier than him is that Sean guy who talks shit about Taylor Swift, right? You know who I'm talking about? It's like, this guy. This guy, right? The founder of the Federalist, right? Sean from the Federalist, who says Taylor Swift is ugly. I'm telling you, the only guy that I know is as ugly as fucking as ugly as Stephen Miller is Sean from the Federalist. Sean Davis. That's who it is. Right? There he is, dude. That's it, bro. Goddamn, dude. Dude, you need to stay with, you cannot go within 5,000 feet of a grade school. Bro. Dude, this guy literally, look at what he said about Taylor Swift. All right. You ready? I mean, these, look at this. Right? Taylor Swift is dumb and her music sucks. I mean, he has a lot of Taylor Swift fucking posts. Okay? He constantly harps on fucking Taylor Swift, boss. Right? It's always the dudes who look like that. Right? Dude, oh my God. Dude, look at those eyes. Jesus. Serial killer. Dude, serial killer eyes, bro. Fuck, dude. Dude, I know, dude, isn't it? It's like literally, like, you know, you think, I think he's married. So I'm telling you, like, there's somebody out there for you. If you're lonely and you're feeling like you can't meet someone, trust me, you can, okay? If Sean Davis from the Federalist can get married, nothing is off the table, all right? For anyone, boss. Nothing is off the table, okay? Your world just got brighter. Seriously. Anytime you're feeling depressed and you're like, my God, my life sucks, just go to his Twitter profile. Spend 5 minutes there and you are going to come out of it like feeling like, all right, I got this. We good. Dude. We good. Bro, that's what I do, right? When I get down, I just go to the Federalist CEO, get a pick me up, bro. Dude, I am just wrecked, bro. It's like getting I need some self-esteem. You're just like glug, 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 glug. Oh, okay. God damn, bro. I'm feeling good. Oh. Whoa. Dude, oh, Lord have mercy. we good. Oh, shit, dude. Oh, my God. Dude, ugliest motherfuckers alive, bro. Oh, dude. Oh. Sometimes, guys, you just gotta, like, let the truth be your guide. Dude, wow. Just wow.
You know? Absolute wow. All right. Brutal. Dude, brutal brutality. You know what I'm saying? All right, we got the motorcycle gangs. We got the bald-headed guys. We got Anna Paulina Luna lying through her teeth. All right. Next up. All right, guys, we need 14 and 19. Let's hit that up. But we're gonna get this. We're gonna get the dance party. We're not gonna screw up the goal this time. All right, I will be better. We should probably look at Trump's little bit of, election chaos. Okay, this is important. Trump on the midterms today. All right, let's look at go to the RuPar. Trump gave a little speech today that was not at all, going to help anyone in America feel like, more self-assured that we're going to have a country at the end of this. But dude, can I just say this? Dude, you ready? As long as we're on the talk of like people and their looks, right? As long as we're on this dirty subject, dude, can we look at 𝗙ecie 𝗏𝗏? Dude, look at 𝗙cie 𝗏𝗏. Look at her face, guys. Look at her face, guys. What has happened to her face? Guys, siempre antifascista. Yes, JD Christie, let's go. What does siempre mean? Hold on. It means always anti-fascist. Let's go. Dude, look at this shit. Right? Look at this shit, boss. Right? Let's go. What is she doing? Dude, I'm serious. There's like, stop stupidity. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Oh. All right, hold on one sec. Let's go. All right. So, facial work, new eyebrows. Her eyebrows got jacked up. She's done some shit to her lips. Her cheeks are like, I mean, dude, she is like, I don't know, dude. It's crazy. And it's so much where it's like, you wonder, is this real? Is this really her? Is this an AI version of her? Are they giving us AI 𝗙cie 𝗏𝗏? Just checked. I didn't know Greenland is mostly indigenous. Miller's wrong. It's closer to 60K people. America's repeating its past. Dude, peaceful. You're not wrong, right? I mean, America loves that indigenous thing, but look at this clip, guys. Okay, look at this clip. Here we go.
Well, the governor of California says, bring it on.
Oh, we'll be there. We think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Minnesota is unbelievable what we've seen, but it is leading us to networks all over the country and overseas, and we're going to follow every single one of them. Homeland Security investigation.
Dude, is this AI? Dude, doesn't it look like an AI 𝗙cie 𝗏𝗏? I'm not even sure if this is real, guys. Like, I don't know if this is actually 𝗙cie 𝗏𝗏, right? It looks like an AI version. Look at how her face is moving and shit.
Is an incredible team of individuals who go after human traffickers, sex traffickers, but the fraud that we have in our public programs that are tied to California, absolutely. We're going to come to you, Governor Newsom, and we're going to arrest every single individual that has ties to this kind of stealing of taxpayer dollars, and we will hold them accountable. We'll bring them to justice.
Good. I think you're going to hit the jackpot out there in the Golden State.
Dude, so... like, dude, something's going on. Like the fish you stick to the window. Let's go, JD Christie. Dude, I mean, I know she looks crazy, but this looks like AI. There's like a weird shadow here, and her chin kept like modulating. And I don't know, it fucking looked like AI. Dude, stop stupidity. Let's go. Beauty is skin deep. Indeed it is. And hers is very, very shallow. But so one of the things, though, that's interesting is how they are specifically targeting political enemies. Okay, they specifically targeted Tim Walz because of Mike Lindell, right? Trump hates Tim Walz because of the weird shit, because Tim Walz was very good at denigrating MAGA, right? And he talks shit about Musk. They hate Tim Walz. They're gunning for him. They're gunning to get Mike Lindell possibly in there, which I don't think is going to happen. But they're gunning for California. They know that Newsom right now is the front runner in the presidential race. They know that if Newsom wins the primary, that J.D. Vance cannot beat him. So therefore, they are now on an operation trying to like create some fraud narrative against Gavin Newsom, hoping that they can get him to pull some shit like Tim Walz. Although Gavin Newsom and Tim Walz are two very different people. Gavin Newsom, even if they caught him red-handed in something, he's going to be like, fuck you. I'm not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? As he should. Like, I don't think Tim Walz should have stepped aside. I wish he wasn't so gutless and he would have just stayed in there and fought. Because fuck these guys. When you have an Epstein rapist in the presidency, like, at that point, there's nothing anyone that could do that could compete with that shit. Okay? And yes, he is trying to harm the blue states. Okay? He is trying to harm the blue states, and specifically blue states that are his, political enemies. But yeah, dude, that is crazy. Okay? That is crazy, boss. There is something about this is just not right. You know what I mean? And I have not seen it, or maybe I have seen it. Right? I mean, I think I did see, I think I did see it. I don't remember what it was, but. Right. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. The press office. I mean, dude, let's talk about Benny Johnson here for a minute. Okay? Dude, we need to talk about Benny Johnson. All right, let's talk about Benny Johnson here. Dude, this is beautiful. Dude, look at this. I love that. Oh my God, bro. Dude, right? Dude, Gavin is their worst nightmare. Okay? Gavin is not going to be a Tim Walz and fucking bend over like that. But we do have to look at something here, guys. All right? We have to look at this Benny Johnson shit. Let me just fucking find it here. Okay. So let's take a moment to look at Benny Johnson. All right. For starters, guys. Okay. I got suspended for a couple of days. I stayed pretty much off Twitter during those couple of days. I just streamed Fortnite and just kind of excised my demons about how it felt being silenced and the powerlessness that comes with that feeling. Now, while I was gone, I come back to this, dude. Bro, look at Benny. Look at Benny, guys. Bro, I mean, dude, Benny, you're not beating the gay rumors. Okay, can I just tell you, when I first looked at this, guys, this was the first image I saw of him. At first, it looked like he had a hoop hearing, like he's got an earpiece in, but doesn't it look like he has a hoop? I thought he had a big hoop earring. When I first looked at it, I was like, did Benny get his ear pierced? Bro, what is this, dude? I mean, he's trying to look like Brian Tyler Cohen or something now, but it's just making him look even more gay. Now Benny just looks like a gay youth pastor, right? Like, what is going on, dude? I go away for 3 days and I come back and Benny is just embracing his inner gay. All right. Which, I mean, maybe it's about time. Maybe his wife is tired of crying in the hotel lobby while he goes to town. But bro, the look, dude, I mean, you know, I don't grow a lot of beard. I too have trouble growing facial hair. Okay. I'm pretty boyish. I don't have thick hair. But like, dude, homie, like, dude, what are you doing, dude? Benny Johnson is like 16 in hairland, in hair years, dude. He's 16. Has anyone heard about the lawsuit? Remember the big lawsuit? Milo outed him. There's a big lawsuit. Oh, I got to protect my family. Do we have an update? Benny. Okay. All right. Hold on. We got to take a timeout here. Guys, we have 8 minutes. All right, we need 8 and 8. Let's hit this up, and then we're going to listen to Benny Johnson singing Gotta Have Faith. Gotta have faith, faith, faith. Hey, rubles. When TPUSA touch your body while your girlfriend's crying in the lobby because she's mad about you. Baby. Benny, where's the Johnson? Let's go, JD. TPUSA touch my body. My wife cries in the TPUSA lobby. Dude, LFG dance party, let's go. Because I gotta have faith, faith, faith. Rubles. Dude, stop stupidity, let's go. Dude, Benny. Bro. All right, five left. 5 and 8, guys. Let's hit it up. Dude, I am on a roll. I'm on a roll, guys. I'm well rested and trying to rebuild the fucking channel after YouTube cucked me. Dude, YouTube gave me the good old New Year's cucking. Stop stupidity. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Dude, wham, bam, thank you. Right? Dude, Benny touched my body. Made his wife cry in the lobby. Baby, Benny. Gotta get some rubles. Cause I got no scruples. And I like it like you. 4 more, let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go, PK. Dude, we do this. Endgrain, yes, we do this. We do this, we do it well, boys. Boys and girls, let's go. Dude, Benny. All right, dos más. There we go. One more. Here it is. Uno más. Oh! Oh, Trumpy! Oh, get shit on! Dude, Milo was definitely right. Okay? Dude, Milo was absolutely right. Dude, 6 minutes, 1 left. We got this. All right, we're going to forge ahead. I have no worries that we're going to hit this. And there it is. Dance party from LL. Let's go. Woo! Let's go, dude. Stop stupidity coming in. Let's go, dude. One flew over. Let's go. Oh. Party secured. Let's go. Thank you. All right, so now, if it wasn't enough, guys, to see Benny with his new, you know, like his new boy toy West Hollywood looks, okay? Now, the other thing is Benny, now look at this, a big announcement from Benny Johnson. Fraud investigation announcement. You ready? Here we go. Fraud announcement, guys. Next week, our team is traveling to the fraud capital of the world, California. Fraud, no proof, mind you. It's just the label they've attached. The fraud uncovered in Minnesota was very bad and led to the destruction of Tim Walz's career. But Gavin Newsom's California is far worse. The American taxpayer needs to see firsthand how criminal California is robbing our nation blind. And then here's a glimpse of what we already know. State auditor found $70 billion lost, 24 on the homelessness, $18 billion in the high-speed rail, $32 billion COVID relief, 2.5 snap, billion spent rebuilding, no homes built. But look at this. We're building the trip right now. What do you want to see us cover? Well, wait a second, Benny. If all of this is like so true and you have them dead to rights, why are you asking your Twitter audience what they should cover, Benny? Look at this. We need your help and suggestions. But why, Benny? You just said you have like 6 elements of like rock steady fraud. Dead to rights, we got them. California is the biggest fraud out there. OPS. Can you send leads? Send suggestions. Send help. Please be a whistleblower. Reach out to us directly if you have any tips on fraud in California. The American taxpayers are pissed. We fight for them. So in other words, guys, to recap, we have Benny Johnson in his new, hold on. Wait, let me get the photo. Here we go. We got to cue up the photo here. We have Benny Johnson in his new LGBTQ stylings. We have Benny Johnson in the new LGBTQ look, going to California, asking people, please give us some fraud. We're going there to find fraud, so please tell us where this fraud is, because we're certain California is filled with fraud. And it's me, Benny, the guy who took $100,000 a week from the Russians to make fake Ukraine content. Okay, me, Benny, the rubles guy who got paid off by Putin. I'm sure there's a bunch of fraud in California. And so please tell me where it is, because I'm going to be there all week. And I'm going to be there in the dance clubs on fucking Santa Monica and, right? Santa Monica and La Cienega. He's going to be on the corner of the fucking gay district in California, ready to fire it up. And look at what Newsom said. He said, we'll make sure Grindr servers are ready. Oh, Benny! Dude, some tells me the guys are going to be ready, okay? They're going to be ready. Again, this is what I'm talking about, though, about like being able to handle these guys. This is the kind of like gumption we need. And we need it from more than just Gavin Newsom, okay? We do. We need it from more than just Gavin Newsom. I mean, Gavin's doing a great job, but we need a crop of social media, like, resilient legislators to step up. We do. Gavin is great at it. AOC is great at it. There are a handful. Maxwell Frost is good at it. We absolutely need to be tuned up and ready to go. Okay, we do. But yeah, this is a good one. Dude, he called him gay. Dude, Benny is gay. Okay, Benny is confirmed gay. All right, this goes back to Milo and Benny. All right, we know it. Dude, Milo confirmed what everybody already knew, boss. Okay? Right? Where Milo extensively pointed out and Benny threatened to sue, and Milo said, bring it on, baby. Dude, we in California have a freaking Democrat supermajority in the state legislature, and little Benny No Johnson thinks he can touch us. I mean, we even voted yes on Prop 50 to kick Repubs to the curb. Yes, you did, Toyota. And Benny, though, guys, we know nothing's going to come of this, but guys, they're just trying to make any content they can that implies fraud, right? I mean, even if you look at Nick Shirley, dude, look at what Nick Shirley's doing, guys. Okay? Nick Shirley is still, dude, look at what he's doing. Dude, he's posting some video, right, with this guy, David, where David is now saying it's $100 billion, right? I mean, look at this guy. Dude, look at these guys. Dude, this is like Nick Shirley and his Grindr benefactor, David, right? I mean, are these guys, does this not look like a Grindr relationship? I mean, It kind of does, doesn't it? The Mormons are stepping out, bro. They're getting modern, bro. They brought down Tim Walz. I don't think they brought down Tim Walz. You know, I mean, Tim Walz, I think, is just removing himself in order to, like, you know, because of two reasons. One, he's weak and he's not a good fighter. And two, he's just going to take this chaos with him, right? He knows it's all going to land on him. And so he can just absorb it and let somebody else campaign free of it. Okay. You know, but I know they think they took down Tim Walz. They think that they're like, ooh, we knocked him out. Now we're going to go get Gavin. But like, dude, Gavin's a different animal. Okay. Tim Walz, he's not a fighter, guys. Okay. He's not. I mean, he's not a fighter. And I think Tim Walz, I'm telling you right now, I said it yesterday. I swear to you, Tim Walz is going to disappear. Okay. He's going to disappear for a couple of years. And I think he's going to run for the Senate in 2030. Okay. The current Senate seat right now that is held by Amy Klobuchar, that is reelected in 2030, Tim Walz will disappear for 4 years, and then he is going to run for Senate in 2030, and he's going to rejuvenate his career running for that Senate seat. And by then it will be forgotten. We'll have a Democratic president in the House. You know, I mean, everybody's a little bit gay. We're all a little bit gay, but some people are a lot gay. Okay, but we are all a little bit gay. You know. Yeah, dude, none of them are going to go to the Pentagon. Dude, Benny Johnson, Nick Shirley, they're not Elon Musk. None of them are going to the Pentagon. Right? Dude, that's a good tweet. Dude, let's do that one. There it is. Let's go. All right. Dude. Let's go, dude. His mom, she's in it to win it, boss. She's got that Mar-a-Lago face. All right, dude, let's look at Trump. We got to look at Trump today, boss. Okay? What an idiot. Dude, what a fucking loser, boss. Jesus. He's doing his weightlifter shit again. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. This is one of the quotes today, guys. Do we have to look at him? Unfortunately, we do. I wish we didn't, but this is a little bit important here, okay? Because we're remember, guys. Everything that happens right now, everything that's going on is being geared towards the upcoming elections. Okay? 2026 is extraordinarily important to Trump and his goons because, guys, if he loses the House in 2026, his agenda is dead. Okay? His agenda is dead. Dude, Walday, let's go. Right? If they lose the House, the Trump agenda dies. Okay? In 11 months, right? 10 months, we can end the Trump agenda. All we need to do is win the House. If we win the Senate too, then it becomes insane. But we win the House and the Trump agenda dies and everyone gets investigated. Stephen Miller gets investigated. Bannon gets investigated. Kristi Noem gets investigated. RFK Jr. gets investigated. Tom Homan gets investigated, right? Everybody does, okay? The Epstein files, everyone attached to that, all of that shit gets subpoenaed, gets drawn up, becomes front and center for the remaining 2 years of his presidency, and all of their moves get investigated. Hegseth, the whole 9 yards, okay? So don't underestimate how much control over the news cycle it will be if there are daily investigations. And I mean, dude, maybe Jack Smith ends up coming before Congress publicly, okay? They kept him hidden under wraps because Jack Smith knows he had Trump beyond a reasonable doubt, okay, for conspiracy to overturn that election. We know he had him. Jack Smith knows he had him. They made Jack Smith testify behind closed doors. But I'm telling you right now, we take back the House and this is going to be public, okay? This is going to be big. Jack Smith would probably be a great AG, right? I bet he would. I bet he would. If he can be aggressive, you know, I mean, this shit is going to come out. So that being said, with the importance of all of this, okay, with the importance of all of this to Trump, Trump's back is against the wall, guys. His back is right up against that wall, dude. Right up against the wall. He is so, like, backed in a corner, and he knows it. He knows, I mean, can I just tell you guys? Virginia, okay, look at this. Just hear me out on this. What have we heard in the news cycle? Oh, Nick Shirley, Democrat fraud. Oh, Democrats are violent. Oh, Democrats are demon. They're supporting their drug dealers. Oh, Democrats support murderers and rapists. And Democrats are just making up hoaxing. And then there's an election today in Virginia. Okay? And of course, in Virginia, what happens with the election is Democrat Mike Jones wins the Virginia Senate District 15. Okay? 68-32. Okay? If you look at this, guys, 68-32. Okay? 69-30. Okay? I mean, it's huge. This guy won by over 30 points. Now, this is like a 11 to 15 point bump over what it was the last time it was won by Democrats. Okay? It was a Democratic seat, but it was won with an even bigger margin. Okay? Because everything is just piling on. The Democrats are winning elections with bigger margins all over the country. They flip seats in Mississippi. All of this nonsense about Maduro and the immigrants and the fraud and all of this shit is not changing anything. Yeah, this was today. This was today in Virginia, okay? It's not changing anything, okay? We're motivated. We know the economy sucks. We know the country sucks right now. We know what Trump is doing. Nobody's buying into this whole, like, Democrats are filled with fraud. Trump has literally, like, abandoned every campaign promise he has made. Every single one, okay? And yes, on top of this, you have the Trump fucking tweet, all right, today about the 30 to 50 million barrels of oil. I'm pleased to announce the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil sold at market price, and that money will be controlled by me. All right? Like, oh, okay. Jesus. What the fuck is this guy? This guy is like an oil baron. By the way, what is U.S. daily oil consumption? Our daily oil consumption is 20 million barrels a day. So this is like 2 days of, dude, it's literally a 2-day supply, guys. Right? We use 20 million barrels a day. And he's like, oh, 30 to 50 million barrels. All right, cool. We got a 2-day supply. We just paid like $500 billion right? We're going to pay $500 billion for 2 days of oil, guys. I mean, that is a Trump deal if I've ever seen one, boss. That is like a bankrupt casino right there, dude. The bankrupt oil casino. You've lost hope with these cuck Dems. Dude, don't lose hope, Coyote. There's nothing the Dems can do now, boss. You got to like snap out of this. I've lost hope. You know what I'm saying? Dude, there's nothing they can do, man. You're like, you got to win the House, right? You're like, when you have no power and the Republicans control all three branches of the Democrat, what do you think the Dems are going to do? They're going to just stand out there out in front of the White House and scream the R slur like fucking Nick Sortor? Like, come on, bro. Wake up, right? You gotta win the House, okay? That's what the Dems are focusing on. They're focusing on winning the House. That is the next step. I know it sucks. Like, Trump's going to have the occasional win. He's going to walk around haughty and cocky and thinking like, oh, I'm fucking kicking everybody's ass. But it doesn't matter. Like, we are getting the House back. And then we will roar, okay? Now, I will say this, though. You ready? When we win the House, okay, when we win the House in 2026, if the Dems, like, hold back then we can pile on, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, when they win the House, if they start candy-assing, then we will pile on. You know what I'm saying? We will fucking pile on, boss. We absolutely will. Okay? We absolutely will pile on. All right? That's what we're going to look at. Okay? But I am confident that they're going to come in swinging. Okay? I am. I think they're going to come in swinging. And I'll be honest, guys, I think they might have some Republican allies too. You know, I really think there might be some Republican allies involved in this, you know, upcoming scenario, because I think there are some Republicans that are about done with this shit too, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, this is fucking just more fucking bullshit. Okay. And I do like this right here too, right? Right here, dude, is I think we might be ready for another government shutdown. Okay? Another government shutdown for a little bit, and then another government shutdown come October when we have the SNAP benefits coming up. I think we need to have a couple government shutdowns activated here during this election year, right? To kill their little bit of momentum. Okay? You know? Oh shit. Oh fuck, bro. But yeah, all right. Dude, crazy. 50 million barrels of oil, right? That's not a lot of oil, guys. That is not a lot of oil. Dude, crazy. All of this for that. Unfucking believable. All right.
I want to really, yeah. But she gets it, and drops the thing. I want to really, yeah.
Dude, that's his. He's still doing the weightlifting impression, the anti-trans, whatever weightlifting impression, which, by the way, guys, I mean, we should note that, you know, I know we never really talk about this, okay? But Trump, okay? Trump, like, allowed transgender beauty contestants, right? He did. He was, look at this, 2012. Trump was literally the man responsible for overriding the, rejection of transgender beauty queens. He allowed trans women into beauty pageants. Now, it is entirely possible that this one reminded him of Ivanka, that she reminded him of his daughter, which is why he went to bat for her. But nonetheless, the reason why transgender women were able to compete in beauty pageants was because of Donald Trump. And yeah, she's gorgeous. Dude, so many trans women are just fucking gorgeous. Okay? And, and they're a type of women, believe me. But anyway, all of his shit is just fucking BS. It is all just BS where he's performing for the people that give him money. He is performing for the crowd that gives him power and acquiesces to his bullying demands. But dude, if you go to Mar-a-Lago, okay, if you go to Mar-a-Lago, trans women use the ladies' room, okay? Trans women use the ladies' room. I mean, I've got an image right here. You ready? Let me show you. I've got a Sophia Hutchins. Look at this, guys. This is Sophia Hutchins, Caitlyn Jenner's good friend. She passed away in an ATV accident, okay? Sophia Hutchins is no longer with us. She died in a tragic ATV accident. But here is Sophia Hutchins, trans woman, in the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago with all these other Mar-a-Lago women. And they're not threatened. They're not scared. They're not worried about, being attacked. They're all mugging with her and taking photographs with her. Okay? Caitlyn Jenner, the same. Women's room at Mar-a-Lago. No one is threatened. Nobody is worried about any of this shit. And yeah, it was an accident. It was an accident. She rear-ended a car. Okay? She rear-ended a car on PCH and rolled it off the fucking hill. Okay? But dude, it's pretty fucking, I mean, these guys are bullshit artists. Okay? These guys are fucking bullshit artists, boss. They absolutely are. They're absolutely like bullshit artists. And the whole thing is just a performance for, it is a performance for evangelical billionaires in order to get cash. Okay? Right? It is culture war smokescreens because their religious audience is worked up and afraid of trans people and afraid of gay people, and they believe it's all the devil. And so they just push that fear button. Keep our audience afraid of the devil. Keep our audience afraid of the devil, right? The devil. And that keeps us winning elections and keeps giving us power. And now I will say this. You ready? I will say that I believe that really the underlying factor is their own like sexual, their own insecurity about their sexuality. Okay? That's really what it is. With most of these MAGA, it's the MAGA dudes, okay? They have this issue where they are attracted to trans women and they are conflicted about the idea of being attracted to a woman that they think might have a penis. And so then they're afraid that means they're gay, and which many of them probably are anyway. It doesn't even matter. We're all like a little bit gay, but this is the root of it, guys. This is the root, is it's just a bunch of dudes that are probably pretty gay being afraid that they're actually gay. And so they're like, they're facing that Benny Johnson sort of reality where they got to get married and they have 10 kids and then they have the hidden Grindr profile and then they rage against the LGBTQ for their whole life. But it's like, dude, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I mean, dude, I'm attracted to trans women, right? I mean, not all of them, but I've definitely been attracted to some trans women. But I mean, dude, I don't know. I guess I'm not too worried about like the genitalia, you know, like it's just not a, it's not a huge deal, man. It's not like I don't know. I'm not obsessed with people's genitalia. And, you know, I'm straight, but like, I'm also like, if I'm gay, I don't care, right? I don't think I'm gay because I'm not attracted to men, but maybe I am a little gay. Men, who cares, right? I don't care. I mean, I got a blowjob from a man once on a recon mission when I was like 20 to see if you could turn gay, right? I'm going to go get a blowjob from a man and I'm going to see if I start desiring men. And I did not, okay? I closed my eyes, I thought of a woman and whatever, it was a thing. But I was not attracted to men after that, okay? I was not at all attracted to men. I did, though, however, come away with an understanding that that gay man was like very much like me, but he was attracted to me. He was really into me. I was not into him. I was merely having an experience to test a hypothesis that was popular at that time that was saying, like, if you have, you know, a gay interaction, you're going to become gay. And you don't. You don't become gay. But I did develop a strong understanding of what the gay, like, that the gay man was no different than me. He was just attracted to different things than me, you know? And that was really amazing that, like, to, like, come with that understanding. Like, I was literally one of the first people in my friend group to get ahead on the, like, sort of dealing with the latent homophobia that we all had, because we were raised with it, guys. Okay, we were raised with like smear the queer and these subtle innuendos that gay men are like a lesser type of man. They're dangerous, they're harmful, keep them away from the kids. If you're gay, you're not really a man, you're weak, right? All of this like propaganda, so much so that, you ready? I graduated high school in 1987. I had a friend group of about 7 guys. One of our best friends was gay in high school. He never told any of us. He hid it from his best fucking friends all through high school. He didn't tell us until 10 years after high school. Why? Because even his best friends were like programmed by nothing but homophobic, like gay hysteria. Okay. And so like, dude, realizing that my own best friend could not tell me who he really was like, that was a real eye opener for me. Okay. Is realizing like, wow, dude, what kind of world were we living in where you could have a friend group and you could be solid as fuck, but your best friend in that friend group couldn't tell you who he really was, you know? And like, dude, I watched that friend struggle with all manner of addiction issues, trying to like cope with him hiding for his whole life, you know? And it's senseless, man. It's senseless, right? It is senseless. It's stupid. And these idiots want to go back there. Okay? They want to fucking go back there, boss. You know? They want to go back there, dude. Okay? This is some fucking bullshit. All right? It is. It is some bullshit, boss. All right. Oh no. Why is Kai Trump trending? Dude. Oh God, dude, this is the last thing I want to see, dude. Nepo kids. Oh my God, dude. She's going on Logan Paul's show. What a dude. Dude, this is the world we're living in, guys. These guys are still platforming these idiots, right? I mean, it's Dana White, guys. You know, it's Dana White. Donald Trump, Dana White owns these guys, okay? I'm serious. Dude, Logan Paul and Jake Paul are owned by Dana Trump. Or Dana White. Dude, is that the Freudian slip or what, dude? But it's true, dude. Dana White, it's a woman beater, and he owns these guys. He buys their energy drink and attaches it to UFC. He gives them wrestling and boxing careers, even though they don't deserve it at all. They suck. You saw Jake Paul get fucking shit on, bro. Guy can't fight. Guy looked scared, bro. You remember that picture? Look at this shit. Okay, let me just show you. Dude, look at this shit, dude. You've seen the image. I'm going to show you right now, dude. Look at this shit, boss. There it is. Look at him. Dude. Look at him. Dude, boxers, real boxers, don't fucking look like this, guys. Right? Look at him. He is scared to death, bro. He doesn't even have his gloves up. It's like, bro, even I know, you know what I'm saying? You at least have one hand up there. Dude, but again, you ready? Here's the deal, though. They get to have those careers. They were given multi-million-dollar careers by Dana White, okay? We're going to buy your energy drink, your bullshit energy drink, and we're going to make you millions. You're going to get rich. We're going to give you a boxing career. We're going to give you a wrestling career. We're going to make sure you have millions and millions of dollars, okay? Millions, okay? We're going to fucking pull you into our little world, right? And all you have to do is sell Trumpism, okay? You have to sell Trumpism, boss, okay? That's all you have to do. You have to sell Trumpism, right? And they're going to make millions, and he's going to fucking protect them, right? Dude, they're bullshit artists, okay? They're bullshit artists. They will go to the highest bidder. And now look at what they're doing. Let's have Kai Trump on, right? Well, let's humanize the fucking Nepo babies. I mean, dude, these guys are Nepo babies too. Okay, these guys are Nepo babies too, dude. They were born, guys. Jake and Logan Paul are from the wealthiest suburb in Cleveland. Okay, they are from the wealthiest suburb in Cleveland. The reason why he was able to become a Vine guy is because his mommy and daddy paid for him to go to LA and to live in that Vine apartment building while they could all just sit around the pool making vines their whole youth and having endless amount of cash to do it and living the ritzy lifestyle because they're from the wealthiest fucking suburb in fucking Cleveland, okay? Dude, these guys are Nepo all the way, okay? And then when he does something dumb like filming the dead body, they get the really expensive crisis team that comes in and strategizes their recovery to boost it and become bigger than ever and yada, yada, yada. But and then what do? They scam people with crypto. I mean, guys, they are like the Trump kids, essentially. And so it's like the Nepos, introducing us to more Nepos and trying to glorify this bullshit 1% lifestyle. When in actuality, this is really who they are. Okay? When they're out there in the real world, this is them. Okay? This is them, boss. Oh, I'm a boxer. Oh, don't hit me. Oh. Dude, I hate Nepo babies, boss. I do. I do not like the Nepo babies, dude. I don't. Man, I just don't. And a lot of them, too, the ones that aren't completely brain dead, they get into Yale and Harvard as legacies and shit like that, dude. They always get these, they get the intern jobs at the New York Times and the Washington Post because their parents can rent them an apartment or buy them an apartment in New York City. Dude, it's just fucking so disturbing. Okay? It's disturbing. What are Nepo baby? It's a nepotism. So Nepo babies are people that are born into wealthy and or famous families, and then they automatically get all the premier opportunities because their rich parents connect them with people or pay for them to be able to have, the internships, right? Because if you look at the way capitalism is set up, guys, if you look at like Fortune 500 companies, you look at like New York Times and the Washington Post and these big tech companies, a lot of this shit is internships, okay? But the only people that can take internships are rich kids, okay? Kids that don't need to get paid because their parents can afford to pay for them to live while they go and work with the top people in the fucking industries. So we have an internship system set up that allows only the wealthy kids to get these top tier opportunities. Okay. And it's like Charlie Kirk is a classic example. Charlie Kirk is not a college dropout who started TPUSA and like revolutionized talking to teenagers and young people on college campuses. Charlie Kirk was an ineffectual, middling, mediocre white guy who was born to a wealthy Republican donor. So when he went to community college and failed out because he couldn't hack it, his wealthy donor father hooked him up with Bill Montgomery and Foster Friess, two wealthy Republican strategist guys who then used Charlie Kirk to create TPUSA. Charlie Kirk looks like this incredible hero that bootstrapped his way up, but no, he was just given the opportunity to be a boss by some Republican strategist that his rich daddy hooked him up with. Like all of these motherfuckers do. It is always these Nepo kids. And what's crazy about this, guys, is it is so bad right now in America that almost uniformly, you ready for this? Hear me out on this. If you find out about a new star that's made it in acting or in music or in Silicon Valley or somebody with a brand new startup or they created some new product, 9 times out of 10, if you do some digging into their background, you find out that they are wealthy fucking kids, okay? Anything, this newly discovered actor, it has wealthy parents or their parents were actors. This newly discovered musician has rich parents that like work in fucking U.S. attorneys or some shit like that. Or their dad is like the head of a fucking VC company or a pharmaceutical company or something, et cetera, et cetera. It's like 90% of the opportunities go to kids of wealth. And then they create Wikipedia pages that try to downplay this shit and make it seem like they were, self-made, okay? Taylor Swift was the same way. Dude, Taylor Swift's parents were extraordinarily wealthy. They discovered she had a singing talent. They moved to Nashville. They plugged her right into the top level of the music industry, got her in touch with the producers and the vocal coaches that worked with all the top Nashville talent, and they fucking groomed her right in with their money into being a country star, and then she crossed over to pop. But the point being is there are a million Taylor Swifts right now in the U.S. that don't have any money that will never see the light of day, okay? Because they don't have Taylor Swift's rich parents, okay? The number one thing you need to be successful in any activity is wealthy parents, okay? If you have wealthy parents, you have a 99% success rate, okay? That's it. That's how bad it's gotten. And now, I just think we got to do something to balance opportunity here, okay? Because that's what keeps the 1% being the only 1%, okay? Because the 1% is just passing down their 1%ness to their kids and their kids and their kids' kids and their kids' kids. And they're passing down wealth that has been accruing for generations, okay? And in actuality, like, you look at like black people and Hispanic people, and they're not accruing any generational wealth, right? And the upward mobility is like a lightning strike, okay? Upward mobility does happen, but it's a lightning strike. And what's more, guys, most upward mobility has a limiter on it, okay? And what do I mean by that? That means like most people are upwardly mobile. You may be born into a poor family and you might end up making $100,000 a year. Okay. And that's the upward mobility where you go from a poor family, but you end up making $150,000 a year. Okay. Which is enough to survive, but it's not like you don't have any fuck you money. Okay. Getting into the millions, getting into the fuck you money, you almost have to be born there. And other than that, you need a lightning strike. It's like a 1 in a million shot. Okay. And that's factual. That's how bad the wealth distribution in America has gotten. It's gotten to the point of where so much of the opportunity is being sucked up. You know what I'm saying? And no, Raptor, if you make $100K and invest right, you're not going to get there. Okay. That's just a fucking myth. Okay, that is a myth. Okay, it is, because if you're making $100K, right, how much are you investing? Right, like $10,000 a year, $20,000 a year, and then provided nothing bad goes wrong, and what do? You invest in crypto, and then Donald Trump takes office, your crypto becomes half the value. Like, dude, it's just Nvidia stocks are done, bro. If you bought Nvidia stocks 10 years ago. Maybe, but the point is Nvidia stocks are over. If you go in now, you're not getting shit. Okay, you're not. And they're going to crash too eventually. But like right now, dude, Nvidia stock ain't doing anything. If you happen to buy Nvidia stock in 2015, sure, you made a whole bunch of money. But like the thing about this though, guys, is hindsight is 2020. Okay, right? Hindsight is 2020. Like, you know, the nobody knows right now what the next explosion is going to be except people that are connected to the explosion. Okay, like there are people in Silicon Valley right now that probably know what's going to be the next Nvidia. And in fact, though, the regular people don't really know that shit. You know what I'm saying? And your grandpa did that, but yeah, your grandpa did that, but your grandpa wouldn't be doing that today. Of course, 100 years ago, that could happen, but that ain't happening today. Because remember this, guys, okay? Remember this, and hear me out on this, okay? It's about scale, okay? It's about scale because, guys, if you invest $50,000 and that doubles in price, you only made $50,000, which is like enough for a down payment on a modest home. Okay. If you invest $2 million and you double it, you made $2 million. Okay. It is scale. Okay. Investing $1,000 a year is not going to do anything for you. Investing $10,000 a year is not really going to do anything for you unless you make the perfect decisions and you never suffer any setbacks. You know what I'm saying? It is like the scale is how people make money. And then they lure you and say, hey man, if you invest right, you too can be super wealthy when you're 80. But what if you die at 45, bro? And while you're investing your 50-year mortgage and your little stock portfolio. Like, come on, man. It's fucking ridiculous. It is built for scale, okay? And I'm not dissing you. If you want to play the investment game and you go in there and you like, go do it. And you believe you're going to get there and you're going to become wealthy, by all means, go do it. But I am telling you that the stock market and the crypto markets are built to reward people with scale, okay? They are. It is about scale. People invest $2 million and they make $2 million. Okay, people invest $2,000 and they make $2,000. Okay, and in the end, all of it is generated by insider activity. Okay, if you are wealthy, you hire the brokers that know where to put your money in order to make that wealth bloom. Okay, if you are wealthy, you hire the brokers that make your wealth explode. If you are poor, you sit there trying to learn about crypto and stocks and throw darts at the wall, hoping you hit a winner. Okay, but if you are wealthy, you hire the people that know the winners. And they all do this. 93% of the entire stock market is owned by 10% of the people, guys. This is a rigged game, okay? This is a rigged game. And yes, if you go to the casino, some people get millions at a casino, but 99.99% of the people do not. They end up bust, okay? It is disturbing. It is. It is rigged, boss. The whole thing is rigged. It is completely rigged, just like this fight, dude. Just like this shit. This guy ain't a fighter. He's scared, bro, but he's going to get millions anyway because it's rigged, okay? It is a rigged game where somebody who's not a fighter, who is scared to death, doesn't even have his hands up, can get his ass beat in the ring and walk away with millions of dollars because it's rigged, okay? You want to be a boxer, you're never going to get this opportunity because you're not part of the rigged game. You're going to work your ass off and box for decades in the tiny, empty rooms for no money. And then if you're the best of the best of the best, you might get this opportunity. But if you're born in the wealthiest suburb of Cleveland and you suck Donald Trump's knob a little bit and you get partnered in with Dana White, you're going to make millions for being scared and getting your ass kicked. Okay? Rigged. Can I be more clear? Is my message getting across, guys? Yeah, if you're making $100K in New York City, dude, you're broke. You are broke. Rigged. All right, good. Rigged. Now, that doesn't mean we can't fix this shit, guys. Okay? That doesn't mean we can't fix this shit. You know, we need wealth distribution, guys. We do. Okay? Well, dude, if you make $100K, right, you pay, 25 in taxes. Now you got $75K. If your rent is $2,000 a month, $24,000 is gone. Now you have $51K. You have a car payment and insurance. Okay, there's $7,000. Now you have $45K, right? That's before any of your bills. Oh, you got student loans? All right, there's, $2,000 a month. Now you have fucking $17K left. And you haven't even bought groceries or paid for your fucking phone bill or gotten some internet, right? Right? And you know what I mean? You don't have shit, bro. You have shit. You do. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. And in fact, after you pay your electricity bill to subsidize the data center in the next county, you are now, what do you have, dude? You got $100 to put into Bitcoin and then you watch it go cut in half after the rich guys sell off. Dude. But hey, man, if I go to the casino and I pull the right slot machine, I could end up with millions. Dude, let's go. All right. Let's go, baby. Dude. Fucking crazy, bro. Dude. Yeah, dude, 𝗙𝗍𝗆 is trying to, she's trying to distance herself from her dad is what she's doing, right? She's trying to not get her grandfather. She's trying to not get her grandfather on her is what she's doing, dude. Dude, and I'll tell you though, I'm really disappointed in this guy right here. I am, dude. Mike Maslach, I'm like supremely disappointed in him, guys. Okay, because I related a lot to Mike, okay? Being a sober guy and him being like an upfront sort of real guy. I related a lot to him, and watching him fucking sell his soul to be a Trump sniff and to just take the bag while turning his back on everything he's ever preached in his whole life is pretty hard to watch. And pretty hard to watch him like rail against homeless people and shit like that and turn into one of these LA, like complain about all the Democrat politicians while he's just fucking, hitting a cash register is pretty hard to watch because I know that this guy knows, you know what I'm saying? I know that this guy knows where he came from and who is he? So Maslach is a guy who was like, he's like a sober sort of gutter punk dude who then became involved in like fucking, you know, he got into the business of helping people survive being canceled. Okay? That's what he did. He was like a PR person that would help people when they got canceled. And that's how he met Logan Paul. Was he met Logan Paul as part of the crisis team to help Logan Paul fix his big boo-boo of getting banned from YouTube. And then he and Logan became friends. And then Mike Mashlak all of a sudden became like a little bit famous and started getting, you know, money and, you know, dating porn stars and shit like that. And then he eventually just kind of like became one of those sort of rich pricks. You know what I'm saying? And that is, you know, it's just hard because I was a big fan of his for a long time, bro. You know what I'm saying? I did. I followed him and was a huge fan of him for a long time. But now he's just a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Now he's just turned into like this giant Trump sniff who basically is like, tries to be apolitical until the campaign comes around, and then he does like the Logan Paul, Dana White, Donald Trump bidding, becomes a grifter, and then as soon as the election's over, he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about politics anymore. So he's just a voice now to like influence young people, right? A bootlicker, yeah, and it's really sad because these guys, like, they're just here to try and get young men to not be Democrats. That's it. Okay? That's it. You know what I'm saying? They are here to engage young men with Trumpism and Tateism and all this shit. You know? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's it. Scoundrelly, right? Dude, she committed to the University of Miami to remain close to her family. Family over everything. Family. Money! Dude, money! Right? Dude, yeah. Not a huge fan, but there they are, dude. There they are. Dude. Oh. Dude, money. All right. Yeah, here's getting back to Trump, dude. We do have to look at this clip, though. You ready?
The worst president did the worst job. They had the worst policy. We have to even run against these people. Now, I won't say cancel the election. They should cancel the election because the fake news will say, he wants the elections canceled. He's a dictator. They always call me a dictator. Nobody's worse than Obama and the people that surrounded Biden. Not Biden. I don't think it was Biden. He didn't know what the hell was going on, okay? The election was rigged. He had no idea what happened. He still doesn't. The worst president,
dude. You see the room there? Like, dude, he's slurring and whatever, but like, there's like no reaction. Do you see that, guys? That there is literally like zero reaction from the people in that room, isn't it? He's still talking about Obama. Guys, Obama has not been president for 10 years, guys. It was 10 years ago that Obama was president. Trump is now in his second term since Obama, and he's still crying about Obama. And he's doing it in a room. No, this room is full. Nobody is even reacting. No clapping, not even a gasp or a sigh of approval. There's like zero reaction. He's literally just talking to a room with hundreds of people in it, and they are just stone cold quiet. It's like, dude, it's like the court jester has lost his fucking audience. You can hear his diaper shaking, bro. dude. It sucks that we even have to run against them. I mean, we should cancel the elections, but I can't say that. Because if I say cancel the elections, the fake news will say I said cancel the elections. I just shit my diaper. Oh, Trumpy. Wait. Oh, shit, help, Melania. Oh, come bring the scooper. Dude. Oh, shit. Dude. He is a fucking clown, bro. Dude, brutal. Brutal. So look at this. Yeah. Right? Look at this. Then the other thing they do, guys, is they create a fake narrative for J6. Okay? They a fake narrative, guys, for J6. Look at this. Fraudulent certification, stolen election certified. Okay? Right? Right? Look at this. 2020 is considered the greatest election theft in U.S. history, with widespread fraud deliberately ignored by the courts, officials, and the media. So now they're with their J6 little narrative here, right? That is like painting Trump as the victim. They're like claiming that the stolen election is certified, that this election was stolen. Dude, all of this is like completely make-believe, okay? Right? None of this, any proof. They lost 66 court cases, okay? Dude, it is like they're just trying to completely rewrite history with a fantasy version, you know? His brain is mashed potatoes. Oh, there's no evidence, guys. There's no evidence. And in fact, the only evidence of election fraud they did find was pretty much Republicans. Every instance they have found of this is Republicans. You know what I'm saying? You know, there is right? Dude, there is absolutely zero. I mean, they lost 66 court cases. They lost every court case. Not even nothing. I mean, and, you know, Dominion sued Fox News, $787 million judgment. Tucker Carlson got fired over the lie. There is zero proof, okay? There is absolutely zero proof, dude. Zero, of course, because we know everybody was like, my God, the anti-Trump sentiment was insane. I just can't believe that this motherfucker got elected again. Like, America, we kind of deserve an asteroid, guys. When you think about it, for doing that again, like really? I think we deserve an asteroid. I think we do, boss. You know? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Dude, brutal. And I mean, I think it comes down to greed, okay? It does, because I'll tell you this right now, guys. Okay, in Portland, we have a very liberal city here. Very. Okay? And my kid went to a grade school that was very liberal, like very wealthy. A lot of very wealthy liberal people. And I'm telling you right now, guys, okay, that I don't believe any of the women in those families voted for Trump, but I know that some of the men of my generation in those liberal families voted for Donald Trump because they wanted those tax cuts. They're like 55, okay? They have a bunch of money, and they're figuring now is the time to take advantage of his tax cuts and his fucking right to multiply their wealth for like 4 years before they get ready to retire. I'm telling you guys, I just know. I know it was my generation of men specifically that were the biggest problem. And it is a lot of Gen Xers who saw their chance right now where they're like, you know what? 4 years of Trump, no matter what he wrecks, I'm going to be able to like double my wealth. Okay? I'm going to double my wealth in 4 years. And then I'm going to like pick up the pieces afterwards, but I know that my family is fucking taken care of and shit. Okay? That is like, people did that, guys. I know people did that. I know they looked at it as just like, we'll get rid of him. We'll finally end this shit. We'll get his final term, whatever. We'll survive the rough road and we will just fucking quick double our wealth. Because everybody who's like in the top 10% has an opportunity to pretty much double their wealth under Trump. And if you're not in the top 10%, if you're making less than $500K a year, you're kind of going to get fucked. But everybody who's making more than $500K a year will double their net worth in the next 4 years. Meanwhile, the poor people will get saddled with the tax burden as a result, and they'll lose all their benefits and all their health care and shit. But everybody who's making more than 500 grand a year is going to double or triple their net worth in the next 4 years. That's facts, guys. You know what I'm saying? And there was definitely bigotry and misogyny in the fucking, Midwest, like white realms. But I'm talking about like people that would normally vote for leftists, right? Would vote for the Democratic Party, but they literally just voted for Trump because of the money, man. They're like, fuck it. I'm gonna burn this shit to the ground, but I'm going to get mine. It sucks, dude. It sucks. Dude, my age range, Gen X men, we're the worst, dude. We're like 60% of the Gen X men voted for Trump, dude. That's brutal, right? You can't keep going like that. It's hopeless. No, it's not hopeless. Just hold it together, all right? It starts with awareness. It starts with awareness. And we're going to we have some work though, dude. We have to work. This shit is crazy, boss. Okay? This shit is nuts. We have some work ahead of us, guys. But don't give up. Don't give up, all right? I know sometimes hearing the truth can get depressing, but the truth needs to set you free, right? You're my age and you didn't. Yeah, I didn't either, guys. But my, a lot of my high school friends, like almost all of them voted for Donald Trump, guys. Like they all became like super Trumpy Republicans. And this is Glendale, California. This is not I mean, Glendale's pretty conservative, as far as California goes, but not conservative compared to the Midwest. But dude, yeah, a lot of my generation just fucking sold out, dude. You know what I mean? They just sold out. Dude, here we go. You ready? Watch Pammy. Here it goes.
Are we not allowed self-defense? It seems to me for the United States, is he not the commander-in-chief? Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States. I just don't understand it. Good Democrats. All right, I'm not impugning their patriotism. I am impugning their judgment, however.
Yeah, Larry, and that's why Donald Trump was elected by an overwhelming majority, because he is going to make America safe by doing things just like this that no one else would have the courage to do.
Dude, overwhelming majority. Dude, Donald Trump didn't even win a majority, guys. He did not win a majority. Kamala Harris and Jill Stein together had more votes. They had a majority. He was a minority vote president and he won by 1.4%. Right? Dude, I mean, overwhelming majority, dude. What is she even talking about? Dude, he didn't even get 50%. He didn't get any majority. He had the most votes, right? but he did not get a majority. He certainly didn't win by an overwhelming majority, and he didn't even win by an overwhelming margin. He won by the tiniest fucking margin imaginable. And like, he has zero mandate.
He is a leader. I think the rest of the world sees it. Not only is he keeping America safe, but the whole Western Hemisphere by what happened. It was a law enforcement function bringing monsters to our country to face federal indictment for crimes that they are alleged to have committed within our country.
Are we not
within our country? Dude, none of these people can speak, guys. All right, I'm done with this shit. Moving on. We have something very interesting, guys. I want to take you through this. Let me get my shit prepared here, okay? Because this is a really interesting thing. I gotta do a little. There we go. Wait, I gotta get my shit prepared, and then we're gonna take you through this. Okay, let me get my shit ready. Oops. All right, you ready for this? Watch this, guys. All right, this is interesting that I stumbled across today. Okay, watch this. All right, we have. You remember the photographs that just happened in the White House? Okay, remember there was a story about Susie Wiles, and they had the photographs of Trump's administration with all the close-ups. Remember Caroline Leavitt with the needle marks in her face and all that shit? Okay, it was like a really big deal. Everyone was like, wow, these fucking photographs are pretty crazy. Well, so the photographer who did them is this guy, Christopher Anderson. Okay, this is the photographer who did those photographs, right? There's, you know, it had fucking Nosferatu, Caroline Leavitt, right? And there are the little details of like the native people in the picture with him, right? Caroline Leavitt in red, everybody at the table, all the close-ups of the faces, and everybody is like super crazy and garish and fucked up, okay? Well, so Christopher Anderson took pictures of Jeffrey Epstein, all right? 10 years ago, in 2015, this photographer was hired to take pictures for a New Yorker magazine article about Michael Wolff and Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And so check out what he wrote, okay? He released these photos today, and he said, yes, that's Jeffrey Epstein. In 2015, I was assigned by Jody Kwan of New York Mag to make a portrait of Epstein to accompany an article by Michael Wolff, okay? The Michael Wolff, all right? Mr. fucking Epstein himself, right? Was doing an article on Epstein in New Yorker, all right? He says, I didn't know much about him other than the fact that he had heavy connections to powerful men. Now, remember, guys, in 2015, Epstein was already a sex offender, but most people didn't know about it, okay? Because once he like pled guilty to those like prostitution charges, solicitation charges, everything disappeared. The indictment disappeared. There was nothing in the public record. The whole thing was just hidden and closed. They all had immunity. He was just a guy who had a couple of solicitation charges against him, like Robert Kraft or, you know, many other billionaires that hook up and get like buy sex. Even though his was about human trafficking, he got charged as though he had bought sex. Okay. So nobody really knew until Trump ran for president and this started hitting the fan. And in 2016 was when Virginia Giuffre sued Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation. And so then at the end of 2016, all of these depositions and this shit was in the public record. Okay. So it was really that lawsuit that civil lawsuit from Virginia Giuffre that put the Epstein shit in the public record. And then it got discovered because Trump was running for president and had been his good friend. And so it was that cataclysmic series of events that led to Epstein being discovered as this sort of predator. And then it was after the Me Too movement when Julie K. Brown started writing those Miami Herald articles, and then everything just spread like wildfire. But back in 2015, nobody really knew, right? They were just knew this guy for some reason was connected with all the wealthy people, and he didn't really appear to do anything, right? Because most of those wealthy guys either started a company or invented an object or invented a computer or had some international thing they had done. And yet Jeffrey Epstein was like a college dropout who had taught a little bit at fucking the Dalton School, even though he had no teaching credential. Then he worked a little bit at Bear Stearns. And then all of a sudden he had $500 million and was everybody's best friend. But he had created nothing. The guy owned an island but had no business, right? The guy owns a fucking private island, 2 of them, and he owns the biggest private home in New York City, but the guy didn't even own a business. He had no company. He invented nothing. Right? This guy, like, how do you get that wealthy with no job, right? I mean, it's a question that people were wondering, okay? So he says, I didn't know much about him other than the fact that he had heavy connections to powerful men. He wanted to meet me before the shoot to negotiate buying out the pictures after publication. Okay, you see that? So this guy gets hired to take pictures of someone for a magazine article, and then the guy he's photographing wants to meet the photographer and to arrange to buy ownership of those photos before the article even comes out. A young woman with an Eastern European accent answered the door. I would later see the same girl setting up a massage table in a room just off one of his offices, followed quickly by his private secretary, Leslie Groff. When Epstein arrived, his eyes sized me up like someone always looking for the angles. He quizzed me about my pictures and how the shoot would go and how much I thought my pictures were worth. He said he didn't want anyone else to have the pictures after the magazine published them and offered me $20,000 to own them after publication. It was all the money in the world to me at the time. I had a young family and lived basically month to month. He wrote a personal check and handed it to me. The magazine had already given me permission to make such an arrangement, and we made it clear that he wouldn't see any of the pictures until after publication. Now watch, here's where it gets crazy, guys. Several days later, Epstein decided to pull out of the story, and he started calling me to demand the pictures. I reiterated that the pictures were not his until after the publication. Then the threat started. He sent his bodyguard/driver, Merwin, a massive guy in a long black overcoat and black leather gloves, to my studio to intimidate me. It worked. Epstein succeeded in threatening the magazine too, and they killed the story. I cashed the check, and Merwin came by again to collect the hard drive and make sure I didn't have any more copies of the photos. Today, I found a copy on a very old hard drive. There is a portrait of Epstein and pictures of him working in 2 different offices in the house. Yes, there's a stuffed tiger. I took a picture of his desk, and you will see an email printed out that is an exchange between Epstein and the Royal Government Office concerning payment from the Duke and Duchess. So to reiterate, okay, he gets hired to take photographs of a guy for a magazine story, right? He gets assigned this, okay? Then the subject of the article says, I want to meet you, meets up with him and pays him off to own the pictures. Then Epstein kills the article. And then Epstein says, I want the pictures. But the guy's like, well, yeah, you bought the pictures, but the article's not coming out. So you don't get the pictures unless the article comes out. Then he fucking sent his bodyguard to shake him down. Okay. And I mean, this is a photographer who is certainly not used to a mafioso guy with black leather gloves coming and like saying, hey man, I'm going to throw you out the fucking window like Vladimir Putin. if you don't give me the goddamn hard drive, bro. Isn't that insane? Right? Why did he back out? I mean, I don't know. I imagine like he was worried about getting caught because maybe he got wind that Trump was running for president. And as soon as Trump was running for president, it was a direct threat to him because of their connection, right? Because on some level, Epstein had to know if Trump ran for president, that meant he was going to get outed. Like everyone was going to find out about him. But look at that photo, that close up. Isn't that fucking crazy? And then these other photos, there's Epstein in this office, which by the way, guys, I don't know if you recognize this, but you see this photo? We've seen a photo like this from the new Epstein photos. You ready? Look at this. There's one of these photos is in that exact same space. Let me find it. Right here. You see that? You see that photo? Look at that shit. Okay? That's the same office. It's a different photo up. There's a different picture up there, but that is the same room in his New York mansion. Right? Same photograph, guys. Same space. Isn't that creepy? There he is with the redacted girls and some weird image. But this is, 2015. Same shit. Right? And then this one is of Epstein in his office. This is the office that Steve Bannon was pictured in. Right? Remember the image of Bannon? Bannon and Epstein at this wooden desk with the picture of that girl right there. Whoops, where is it? There's the Bannon one, and there is the tiger. That is the Bannon. What did I do with that photo, boss? Oh, there it is. Oh, shit, I see what I'm doing. Right? That is the Bannon desk. Pulled the tiger up in front of it. Right? Then there's another photo is this one, which is some of the photographs on there. There's Epstein and Ghislaine with Clinton. There's Woody Allen and Song Yi, right? And look, Branson and fucking Epstein. I don't know who these kids are, right? This looks like something that's maybe from the birthday book. I think these things are things from the birthday book. But that's another one of the photos, right? That's that one. And then there's a last photo of his desk. And this is the email in particular where it says, "Dear Amanda, I've expressed my concern to you that despite all our concerted efforts, I still remain unpaid." Okay? The financial arrangements have been agreed directly between the Duke and Duchess and I for some 2 months. Yet, from what I understand, there's no plan in place to pay me the $59,933 I am now clearly owed. I agreed to reduce the amount I am owed by the Duchess in wages from $72,000 to $59,000 in order to reach an agreement with the Duke and Duchess. The Duchess then emailed me twice to say that my offer was acceptable to both her and the Duke. I did not waive my right to receive this money lightly, given the debts incurred as a result of this non-payment and resulting struggle I've endured to try and support myself and pay for my MBA course at Columbia. Okay? And so what's crazy about this is settlement, John O'Sullivan. I mean, I don't know what this fucking even is, who this is about, or the payment from the Duke and the Duchess. That's pretty fucking weird. Right? That, what is that? I'm curious about that. If we have some information about this, so I don't think, right? See, what's crazy about this, guys, is I don't think this email, where is it? I don't think this email has come out yet. Okay? Because this is the Duke and it's Sarah Ferguson, right? And I don't think that this email has been released yet because I've not been able to find. Right? There's this, okay? There's just this story. John O'Sullivan, right? There's an email at John O'Sullivan, like something about a Columbia MBA program. And what's odd about it is this isn't Epstein demanding this money. This is some guy named John O'Sullivan demanding this money. But like it is somehow on Epstein's fucking emails. And yeah, the printing emails out is like really weird. Okay. It is. The printing emails out is very strange. It is, you know, I think it's a means of deleting it. And so, if you look at this, okay, I don't see the top here, but what it looks like with this is you see here that the Duke wrote question mark. So it looks like the Duke forwarded this email from John O'Sullivan to Jeffrey Epstein, right? Like there was some emailing going on with Epstein and Sarah Ferguson, and then the Duke emailed a copy of this John O'Sullivan email to Epstein. So I'm not sure why Epstein was getting a copy of this, right? You know, so there's something about that is weird, that we have this email from John O'Sullivan to the Duke and Duchess saying, hey, you owe me 60 grand, right? For my MBA program, it was 72, but we agreed on 60. You need to pay me off. And for some reason, the Duke forwarded this saying, but we don't know why. We don't know what's up here, right? I mean, I see something up here that says, I am trying to blah, blah, blah. Something until the money he received. Otherwise, he was going to sign and use the money to sue or something. So I don't know. There's some other story to that email that we're not getting completely. That right? There's more on the top there that we don't know. But by my cursory search about this, okay, see, there's no record of this, okay? There's no record of this email yet coming up, so I don't think this email has been part of the dumps yet, okay? I don't think, and guys, we need to keep this in perspective because, you ready for this? Let's look at this very importantly, okay? If you look at the files, they have released 1%, guys. Okay, 1%, under 1%. Okay? They have released 12,000 documents, 125,000 pages. There are 2 million items that they've had for years. They've had these items for years, guys. At least 2 years. They've had these items, nothing like less than 2 years. And they are still avoiding this shit. Okay? They were supposed to justify the redactions on January 3rd, and instead they kidnapped the leader of Venezuela and created a whole new news cycle, a bullshit news cycle. They've released less than 1% of this stuff, guys. Okay, they've released 12,000 of 2 million items. Nothing. They're completely defying the law that was just signed. Okay, right? And here was Massey's statement about it today.
For the fact that these Epstein files still, there are millions of more documents that they're still reviewing at this point.
You know, if this were a private law firm with 5% of the resources of the DOJ, this would have been done by the deadline. And they just missed another deadline, which is the report to Congress, which is supposed to list all of the politicians that are in their files. And also, they're supposed to justify all the redactions 15 days after the first 30-day window. But the biggest problem isn't that they're missing the deadlines, is what they're redacting. So they're citing the Privacy Act, and they're trying to pretend like that overrides a law that we just passed that says you can't withhold records to prevent embarrassment. They're also citing FOIA standards, which don't apply to our law when they're trying to say that they don't have to release internal decisions. But our bill specifically says release internal decisions.
So what are you going to do about it?
We're looking at that.
Yeah, see, that's just it. Now they have to figure out like what they're going to do, because they are doing multiple things that Massey covered. I mean, obviously, number one is they're just not releasing the shit, and they're stonewalling the release. But the big thing is the redactions, okay? Because they're supposed to only redact the non-public victims, and then anybody they redact other than that, they have to provide context as to who they redacted and why, okay? And they're redacting shit like nilly-willy. There are some non-public victims that they didn't redact. They're redacting public victims. They're redacting like photos that are in the public domain. They are redacting to try to insinuate guilt. They did a whole bunch of this with fucking Bill Clinton, right? And, you know, so they are being illegal across the board. Why don't Dems ever actually do anything? Yeah, but so Leviathan, when you say why don't Dems actually do anything, I mean, they are doing stuff, boss. They literally are the reason why this bill even got passed, okay? And they're the reason why it went 479-1. I mean, the Dems are doing a lot. There's just not much they can do when you don't have power. You know what I'm saying? So they're doing a lot for not having power. In fact, they've been getting Republicans on their side in quite extraordinary ways. Just arrest them for, dude, with whom? The Republicans control the police, boss. You just heard that they're not in power, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to get Trump's FBI to arrest Trump? Like, are you trolling or are you stupid? Come on now. Like, who's going to arrest them, right? Oh, you're going to call up Trump's DOJ and say, hey, Cash, will you arrest yourself and Donald Trump, please? Come on, dude. Quit crying and fucking wake up and get in the fight, all right? I'm serious. Dude, I'm serious, guys. For me, guys, listen to me. And let me be very clear here. That refrain of like, why don't the Dems do anything? Okay, dude, that refrain's bullshit. Okay, if you find yourself saying, why don't the Dems do anything? You are like, you're just contributing to more of this disaster. Okay, quit crying and fucking get in the fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. Dude, literally the reason, like, so far, the Dems strategically ended the shutdown to get 𝗏𝗏 fucking sworn in, to force the discharge petition, who they got Republicans to sign on to force this law, to put this in the goddamn news cycle. I mean, the Dems literally just accomplished all that. And while having no power, they hijacked they took over Mike Johnson's own Congress and hijacked them with this shit. And they're doing that with no power, guys. Like, give a little credit and quit being fucking crybabies. I'm serious. Dude, I am tired of leftists being fucking crybabies. Biden couldn't open them. okay? And Kurt, again, like, guys, when you say Biden never opened them, that means you're just ignorant, okay? There was an open court case. Biden's DOJ prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell. That put the files out of touch. Nobody could release them. It was illegal to touch them. They were under wraps because of active appeals. The only reason they're even able to release it now, okay, is because Donald Trump's DOJ closed the case. If Pam Bondi hadn't issued that unsigned memo in July, they wouldn't even be able to release them now, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you're saying, why didn't Biden do this? You don't even know the story. That just tells us you don't even know anything about this goddamn case. So you're crying, why didn't Biden release him? It's like, duh, there's a good reason why Biden didn't release him. And there's a good reason why that memo was unsigned and why that this shit is going on right now. Okay? Like, you gotta snap out of this. Okay? Quit crying about the Democrats and get fucking educated. Okay? You gotta take the wins you have. You know what I'm saying? They're doing as much as they possibly can right now with no power. And they're executing some massive fucking wins. Right? They are. But dude, it's going to be a long fight, man. This is going to be a decade. We are going to be in it. I mean, if we take back the House, okay, this will speed up for sure. Okay? They absolutely will. Right? You know what? Shadows can't change things. Well, yeah, man, Kurt, I think you should just revolt there, boss. Right? I mean, my thing is that if you're going to revolt, go revolt. But if your revolt is just sitting in chat and crying about like Democrats, you're not revolting. You're just being an obstacle. Just so you know. Okay? If you really were a revolter, you'd be out on the streets like revolting. Okay? You wouldn't be in a chat crying about revolt. That's not how it works. If you're in my chat talking about revolt, you're not really a revolter. You're a poser. You know, just so you know. Okay? Like, you know, if you want to revolt, get on the streets and revolt. Show us how it's done. Right? I'm serious. Dude, I'm tired of these leftist posers, bro. It's like so many of the leftists are fucking posers, boss. They just want to cry like, oh, we're powerless. Everything sucks. Break out the guillotine. Right? And it's like, dude, come on. You know? I mean, get involved. Get in Congress and fucking get in there and do the work, man. Get in there and like, right, get elected and go fucking get this shit out if you think you have all the answers. Let's go. All right? Dude, I mean, don't get me wrong, dude. I too would love if we could move faster, right? I would love if we would move faster. But guys, we just got to focus on the House. Okay? That's really what we got to do, man. We got to focus on the House. Okay? That's the next step. And I know it's 11 months away, you know, but we're going to keep pressing on. And one thing you guys can do is you can be out there like making your content and like contenting this or doing whatever you can in your own world, run for a local race, elevate this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Elevate this whole thing. But guys, I think we do have to stop wasting our time crying about like senseless things that we can't control. You know what I'm saying? Like people will sit there and they'll say, we need to get the money out of politics. But like, dude, it's a waste of time to stand around saying we need to get the money out of politics because like everybody knows that, but you can't just get the money out of politics. You have to win the House, then you have to win the Senate, then you have to win the presidency, then you have to kill the filibuster, then you have to stack the Supreme Court, then you have to run a case to the Supreme Court, and then you can get money out of politics. But it's like, so sitting there and saying that last step is getting you nowhere. You have to start taking the step we can take right now to win the next battle, right? Like, right? And so step one is to win the House. And then step two is to hold the people in the House accountable after we've won. Okay? See, what I want to see with Dems is I want to see us stop protesting during the election year and start protesting when you have the power. Okay? Right? When we have the power, we need to then marshal our resources to push our legislators to take the action we want. So once we have power, we need to be protesting for the Epstein files. We need to be protesting for the impeachment. We need to be protesting for, right? It's like you get the power and then you protest, okay? Instead of like when we're in an election year, we protest so we lose the election. No. Let's get together and just win. And then once we win, we can protest while we have the power. It's much more sensible, guys. When you have the power, you protest. I think it works better that way. Protesting when you have no power is just like theater. Okay? It is. It's theater. It's like saying, hey, I wish we had some power. Look at all of us out here having no power, right? I'm serious, guys. We got to fucking, Dude, Jeffries backed Mamdani, and Mamdani and AOC are backing Jeffries. So there is at least a little bit of a coalition going on with Jeffries. Schumer is kind of a lost cause. However, the Senate is less important because if you don't have 60 in the Senate is kind of useless anyway, and it's just one of obstruction, and Schumer is ineffectual, and hopefully he will get replaced. But in the meantime, guys, you ready? I want to tell you something right now, and I want you to pay attention to this because Schumer does have to go. But right now, guys, Schumer is functioning with an important role, okay? And what is that role? He's keeping the coalition clean because right now Schumer is taking all the blame. And I don't know if you've noticed that, but Schumer is the fall guy, okay? Right now, he is like Tim Walz in Minnesota, where all of the blame is lumping on Schumer, so Jeffries and AOC and the rest of the people in the House can kind of like go a little further to the left, and they can be a little more adamant in their stances because Schumer is like taking all the blame. And even though I'm not going to defend Schumer because Schumer is a fucking turd, but like we don't have any votes in the Senate to do anything there anyway. So having him be the guy who just takes all the bullshit actually frees up the rest of the coalition to do a lot more shit without taking heat for it. Okay? Because everybody is just like piling onto Schumer, and Schumer's like just sitting there taking it all. And that is a little bit of an important role, having a kicking dummy that just sort of like is a magnet for all the negativity. It allows the rest of the people to sort of operate under the radar, okay? And so as much as I hate Schumer and I hope he gets replaced, he is actually kind of functioning in a role that is like valuable during this time, where he's just attracting all the dogpile energy, dude. He is, bro. And it's like, it's good though, because now everybody's just attacking him, and a lot of other people are like liberated in a way. But I think he's also going to get primaried. I think it looks like the coalition is protect Jeffries and they're going to primary Schumer and probably move him out. Right? If he even runs again, he may not run again when the time comes. He may just step out, right? He may just be the fall guy during the whole time here and then step out, right? I mean, it's kind of like what Tim Walz is doing too, right? Tim Walz is going to be the fall guy and he's going to fucking step out. Guys, that's what's happening. He's going to step out and sort of clear the pathway, right? You may be wrong, but I don't think he's running again. Yeah, I kind of feel like he's probably not running again, that he's going to be the fall guy and take all the heat for this, and he is going to, right, he's going to then get replaced. See, I disagree with Jeffries being terrible, okay? I don't like Jeffries' politics, and Jeffries is not a point man for like legislation or anything, but I think Jeffries is actually very efficient at getting everyone in the coalition unified, which is the speaker's job, guys. It doesn't matter if you're corporate or whatnot. What matters is if you can get everyone together. Okay, like 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗎𝗓 is never going to be like Mike Johnson, where he's going to pull a vote up and they're going to get fucking sidetracked or hammed over by their own people. Okay, that won't happen under Jeffries. But he certainly is not the point man, guys. The point people are people like AOC and people like Jamie Raskin and people that are Jasmine Crockett, who now we have to figure how she's going to get back into government. Okay, but his job is just to make sure that the centrists and the corpos and the leftists all vote together as a united coalition. And you kind of need a middle-of-the-road, milquetoast, cheesy motherfucker to accomplish that. Because if you had a leftist doing the job as the speaker, like, they wouldn't get any votes, guys. You would be like the Republicans, where you would get nothing done because the whole coalition would be eating each other's alive. And you got to realize that, guys. You got to, like, snap out of your fantasy world and understand how this government operates in order to see, like, what is needed where, right? And again, I don't like him. I don't like his hand movements, and I don't like his religion and all that shit, and he's way too middle of the road for me, but I do appreciate the job he does. He's very good at that job, okay? He is. He's very good at that job. And he gets all the factions of the Democratic Party unified, okay? You know what I'm saying? And the thing about that, though, DIY, listen to me, okay? When you say Dems that broke and voted yes, but DIY, listen and hear this, because, again, you got to understand, the Dems broke and voted yes on shit that was going to pass regardless. So those Dems broke and voted yes so they could keep their purple districts, okay? And that has to happen too. Sometimes you know you're going to lose the vote, so you let some of your coalition in purple districts vote for the red shit so they can hold on to their districts. It is a game of maintaining power, and you have to do that shit. Pelosi did that shit too. It is a requirement. If you're going to lose the vote anyway, you protect your districts. You gotta realize that this is not just about, oh, we're gonna stand up there and vote with our gut. It's like, no, man, this is about winning goddamn fucking congressional districts, boss. It's called politics. It's not a bunch of, like, people just voting with their hearts, you know? And so sometimes those people have to vote yes because, 55% of their district is red and they need to win those people. You know what I'm saying? And he refused to bring up impeachment. Yeah, but now's not the time to impeach, guys. You don't impeach until you have the House, okay? You don't bring up impeachment when it's going to lose, okay? That's not a time to do it, because then you just look stupid. You look like Mike Johnson, all right? But anyway, I got to go dance. I can't sit here and argue about this. Yeah, impeachment is useless, guys. Impeachment is nothing. Donald Trump's been impeached twice. It didn't matter. Didn't change a goddamn thing. All right, you got to do that shit when it's going to have a political value. All right, but guys, keep the faith, baby. All right, keep the faith. Just win the House, win the House, win the House, and then when we win the House, we protest to get them to fucking do what we want them to do. All right, remember that. We're going to win the House, and then we're going to fucking we're going to win the House, and then we're going to. We're going to try to, influence their decision making, right? We're not arguing, we're discussing. Yeah, but so I guess DIY, sometimes it's hard with the discussing because I feel like I'm discussing with some people who just aren't aware of how the government works. And so that's hard because for me, it's frustrating to have to explain to people how the government works, because I guess I'm under the assumption that as Democrats, we should already know that. Like, it's our job to be, educated onto why these decisions get made, and maybe it's like frustrating, not because of necessarily individuals in the chat, because I know everybody in the chat is just doing the best they can, and we're all stressed about this. But I personally am a leftist who doesn't hate the middle of the party, right? I don't hate them. I don't love them, but I don't hate them. I respect the fact that the Democratic coalition is a wide variety of people, but I do get frustrated because a lot of leftists seem to have this idea of how they want people to behave, but they are clearly so ignorant about the game of politics that exists, that needs to be played, that it's like their hatred of the independents and of the middle of the road Democrats is more rooted in their own fucking ignorance and their own desire to have spotless integrity than it is in the actual behavior of those middle of the road Democrats. And you know what I'm saying? And that's what's frustrating is some leftists are just, they rail against the middle of the road Democrats, but what's really going on is the leftists are fucking ignorant of the game that needs to be played. And so they're hating the people that are playing the game and like trying to win the game. And the leftists are just out there like losing because they don't know what the fuck is going on. And they're just like, oh, I have more integrity than you. But it's like, so what? You have integrity, but you have no power. And you're losing because you don't even understand the game you're playing. And that's hard, dude. It's hard. It's like a quarterback having a lineman that every time he hikes the ball, the lineman just runs over to the sideline and yells at the coach. And he's yelling at the coach because the coach isn't running the plays he wants to play. But it's like, goddamn, guys, we have a game to play out here. Either do your position and show up, or like if you want to be playing a different game, then why are you on the football field? You know what I mean? And that's what's hard, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what's hard. And yeah, but the Dem popularity is just because we lost, man. Okay? The Dems are winning elections all over the country. With the low popularity, your popularity doesn't matter. Your popularity only matters if you're the incumbent. Okay? The incumbent are the ones that the popularity matters because will those people show up to vote. But even with the Dems' low popularity, of course, everyone's mad. They're pissed. They're mad at Biden. They're mad about Gaza. They're mad at Kamala. They're mad that we lost. They're mad that we have to endure Trump. They're mad that the Dems have no power. Everyone's pissed. Everyone hates everyone, of course. But like, so what? Like, you know, you got to put on your big boy britches and you got to do the next fucking thing, which is win that goddamn house. You know what I'm saying? And like, we gotta work together. You know, but we do have to acknowledge the game of politics that exists, and you got to try to understand why some of these decisions are made, okay? You know, and again, right, when it's time to get rid of Hakeem Jeffries, you will see like Mamdani and AOC and other powerful Dems will unite. And they will let you know. But right now, they've gone in for Hakeem Jeffries. So we know that, like, everybody is, like, working together to some degree. And I think we should respect that. Okay? We should respect the fact that Mamdani and AOC and Hakeem Jeffries are united for the time being and get them the power back and see what happens. Okay? Because, right? Let's see what happens. Let's get that house, though. All right? We got to get that house, baby. Okay, I love you guys, and I'm sorry if I like yell at you guys and call you ignorant. But if you say things that are ignorant, I might call you ignorant, and it's not a judgment of you personally, because I'm sure you guys are all smart and you're trying to like figure this shit out. And I know you're mad. We're all suffering, but you know, I mean, I'm not opposed to saying like that's some ignorant shit. When people don't seem to understand how the house works, you know what I'm saying? You're just not who you think I am. Well, yeah, but Leviathan, like, I don't know who you guys are because you guys are just chatters. So it's hard from a streamer's perspective. You get to see me, okay? You know where I stand because you see my face. I don't know any of you, like none of you are potentially real, okay? Because you're all just words in a text chat. And that makes the transition very hard. Like you get to operate where you get to be you without being seen. And that's like a weird power advantage that I'm always going to chip away at. Okay. Because if you say ignorant shit, I'm going to call it out because, I don't have the opportunity of seeing it to your face. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird power dynamic that exists. right? So I'm here to fucking, right? What are we here for? I love ya. Now it's time to dance, though. All right, you guys bought a dance party. Let's go, baby. Dude, you know what would be amazing though, guys? What would be amazing is if instead of avatars, if the chat had cameras of you guys, like little cameras of your face live, so we could see everybody's faces live. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing, guys? If I don't know if people would use it. I bet a bunch of people probably wouldn't use it. But I think it would be amazing if we didn't have avatars, if we had little squares with their faces, dude. I would love that shit. That would be so cool. Because, guys, it's really hard as a streamer sometimes because you guys, like, I'm real to you, but a lot of you aren't real to me. And so it's like the dynamic is a little weird, right? It's a little, like, janky. I think a lot of times it's fucking, I don't know. Right? Let's go, baby. All right. Time to stretch, though. Dude, we covered a lot tonight. Oh, shit, boss. Oh. Dude, go watch the new video, guys. Dude, it says nobody's watching the Tim Walz video. Like, what the hell, bro? Why are the subscribers not watching the Tim Walz video? That's fucked up. Dude, I make perfectly good videos and the subscribers don't watch them. All right, if you're a YouTube sub, go watch Tim Walz video. Watch it twice. Right? Be rapt attention. Today's your Friday. Let's go. Must be a mindfuck. Sometimes it is, guys. A lot of times it's good, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it is a little weird. Right? Thank you, Dystopian. Sometimes it is weird for streamers. Like we live in a weird bubble, right? We do. We live in a weird bubble. Hakeem needs to go. Hakeem's not going, Paula. If you feel that way, I would direct that energy into something like Hakeem's not going for a while. He is clearly connected with 𝗪𝗪𝗎 and Mamdani. He is part of like the coalition. So if you want him to go, I get it, but he's not actually going for a while. So I would focus more on like getting him to get on your team, right? Because he's on the team of some very powerful Dems, so he's clearly not going, right? That's the reality, right? We're stuck with him for a while. Oh. Yeah, no, Hakeem is definitely movable. Dude, he is movable, man. He fucking endorsed Mamdani at the last minute. He's totally movable. I know he is. Missed you? I missed you too. Dude, I missed you too. Let's go. You ready? Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. It is. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of Dems we're stuck with, boss. Jesus. Don't even get me started on some of these guys. Dude, there are a lot of guys that I don't like. Dude, Jared Golden, come on, man. Maria 𝗙că𝗨𝗪, she's like practically my fucking neighbor here. Dude, there are so many. And you get into middle America in those purple districts and it gets bad, bro. It does, dude. Like, but I'd rather have those bad Democrats than a Republican, right? As much as I hate Maria 𝗙că𝗨𝗪, I'd rather have her than a Republican, you know? Like any day of the week, boss. All right, you ready? Let's go. Let's get it. Oh. Yeah, it's hard though. Sometimes I feel like people are trolling, right? I do. Like sometimes when people say like really like shit that seems really like, wow, how are they saying something like that? Do they not know like why this shit is going on? I think people are trolling. Dude, Let's go. Oh, shit. I mean, we get a lot. We get a lot. Like, because once people get a little attention, they'll get contrarian just to keep the attention going, right? They do. They do. They like the attention. If they can get you, like, responding to all their messages, they get addicted to that shit, you know? They do. They get addicted to it, boss. They get addicted to me, baby. Let's go! Oh! All right, here we go. Addicted to the ALT, boss. Addicted to the PP. They're addicted to the PP. Let's go! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Thank you guys for a great stream, some good arguments, some good discussions. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.
Hey, I just want to change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't want to hang around. I'd rather be found. It gets better. I wonder my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. I will never be alone just want to change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. It's about you. I would never be